Chalo, let's go ahead. Let's start with the next part, that is schedule number 3 and section number 7.2. Okay, let's quickly see now what all things we have done and how far we have come, right? So we started with our supply chapter, right? And in supply chapter, first we did all our basic definitions, etc. Then we started with concept of supply, right? Concept of supply is nothing but section number 7. Okay, then we did section number 7.1a. This is section 7, subsection 1, clause A. Okay, then we did section number 7.1AA. Then we did section number 7.1b, and then we did section number 7.1c. Here we did schedule number 1, 4 paras. Okay, whatever transaction falls under all these 4 cases, like any of these 4 cases, then that will be considered as a supply. This is what we did. Here basically we did section number 7.1. Okay, then now we did section number 7.1 capital A, 7 like 1A. This is subsection 1A, where we discussed about classification between goods and services, and this was read with schedule number 2, where we simply did the bifurcation between goods and services. And now we are going to do section number 7.2. Okay, now we are going to do section number 7.2 read with schedule number 3. This is basically my negative list. Okay, that where the transactions which are mentioned in these negative list is neither considered as supply of goods nor it is considered as supply of service. Means it is not considered as a supply at all. Okay, it is not considered as a supply at all. 10 points we have to do it in, or do in this. Can we start with it, everyone? Yes? Chalo, theek hai. Let's start with it. Chalo, everyone, just pay attention here, okay? Now see, section number 7.2 read with schedule number 3. These are nothing but the non-supplies. Now there are going to be 3 parts in this non-supply. Can you see part A here? Point number A is written. Okay, then just turn your page. On the next page, can you see point B coming up here? And then there will be point C. So there are going to be A, B, C, 3 points which are covered under your non-supplies. And with this, my section number 7 will actually come to an end. Okay, now, along with that, we have to read schedule number 3. Now see, in the paras of schedule number 3, like total there are 10 paras in schedule number 3, and which let's try to understand which all transactions fall under schedule number 3 on which GST applicability is not there at all. So first transaction is between employer and employee. This we have already discussed today, that if there is any services provided by the employee to the employer in the course or in relation to employment, okay, only in relation to employment, if there is any transaction between employer and employee, then that is considered as a non-supply, and on that GST is not applicable. But this is, again I am telling you, this is only for employment. Okay, anything which is outside the ambit of employment, example, one person was providing a house property on rent to the other person, etc., that is not related to employment. On that, normal GST is applicable. Yes. Okay, but here we had already seen an exception. Do you recollect gifts? Yes, if there was any gift given by the employer to the employee exceeding rupees 50,000 in a year per employee, then that will be considered as supply. Right? That will be considered as a supply. Now see what are they telling? There was one circular which was given here. Okay, this was also, I think, tested in the exam, or it was there in the RTP, MTP, I don't remember exactly, but recently only this question was asked. Okay, now here they are talking about ESOPs, ESPP, RACU, it means the stock options, etc. If this is provided by an Indian subsidiary company to its employees through its overseas holding company. Okay, please try to understand the type of transaction that is happening here. So there is the holding company which is located outside India. That company is having a subsidiary company in India. Okay, Indian subsidiary company is there, and within this Indian subsidiary company, some employees of the company are there. Okay, there are some employees who are working in this Indian subsidiary company. Now here they are telling that, okay, as a part of compensation or as a part of employment contract, what happened was some ESOPs, you must have heard about ESOP, na, stock options, etc. Some stock options were given to the employees of the company. Okay, some stock options were given to the employees of the company, but here whose stock will they get? They will get the stock of the overseas holding company. So basically the Indian subsidiary company, okay, Indian subsidiary company is going to provide some ESOPs okay, to the employees of the company, but those are actually the stock of the overseas holding company. So basically overseas holding company is providing the ESOPs to the employees of the Indian subsidiary company. Like example, if you stay in the company for 5 years, we are going to give you the stock option, etc. All these things is going to happen. Now the question that arises here is the stock option which is given by the Indian subsidiary company. Okay, stock option which is given by the Indian subsidiary company through its overseas holding company, on that will GST apply or will GST not apply? Means is it a supply or is it not a supply? So the answer is, what should be the answer as per you? Can we say this is not considered as a supply? Why? There are two reasons for that. First reason, can we say this is security? This is a transaction in security. Whatever the employee is going to pay, see for ESOPs also we have to pay, but at concessional price. So whatever you're going to pay, that is going to be for purchase of security. Right? So on that anyway there is no GST applicable. It is outside the scope of goods also and it is outside the scope of services also. Okay, that is one reason. Second reason, can we say that employee is getting the ESOP, RSU, ESPPs, etc. under an employment contract? This we are getting under an employment contract. So this is in relation to employment. So again that is on that there will be no GST applicable. Right? There will be no GST applicable, and ESOP is considered as a perquisite, and on perquisites, allowances and salary, anyway there is no GST applicable. We have already discussed that point. Yes, so because of these two reasons, the GST, this ESOP transaction is not at all liable for GST. Yes, now listen. Now here another thing which they clarified by way of circular was, okay, now please try to understand. Can we say here these people are the employees of the Indian subsidiary company? Okay, Indian subsidiary company should have given the ESOP to the employees, but actually they are giving the securities of the overseas holding company, right? So now what is happening here? Basically, Indian subsidiary company will take the securities, give it to the employees, and can we say it will have to pay to the holding company? Indian subsidiary company will have to reimburse it to the overseas holding company. So now the amount which is paid by Indian subsidiary company to the overseas holding company for the shares on that, is GST applicable or GST is not applicable? Again, can we say on that GST is not applicable? Why GST is not applicable? Because again, first of all, it is a transaction in securities, and secondly, can we say this is purely a reimbursement? This is purely a reimbursement. Yes. Acha. Also, these employees will have to pay the discounted price to the Indian subsidiary company, and Indian subsidiary company will transfer that amount to the overseas holding company. So the circular claimed that this is purely reimbursement. So in this case, there will be no GST applicable. Okay, here it cannot be considered as importation of services. Right? Acha. Another thing, what if the overseas holding company is charging some extra commission? Because it is providing the ESOPs to the employees of the Indian subsidiary company. Now, what if it is charging some commission? Means along with the value of securities or whatever consideration we have to pay, along with that, what if it is charging some commission? What if it is charging some markup, etc.? Then on that commission or markup, means whatever is the extra amount charged, on that GST will be applicable. Okay, on that GST will be applicable, and yes, that will be considered as importation of services. Means as if the overseas holding company is providing the services to Indian subsidiary company, and for which we are going to pay the consideration. So that will be considered as a supply as per section number 7(1)(b). Not para 4 of schedule 1. Para 4 of schedule 1 is what? Para 4 of schedule 1 is zero consideration, but here they are charging some markup, here they are charging some commission, right? So here there is a consideration involved, so this will go under section number 7(1)(b), and that will be considered as a supply, but Indian subsidiary company will pay the tax on it under reverse charge mechanism, which we have already discussed. Manageable till here? This circular was manageable for you, everyone? Yes, okay, done. So this was the first transaction, employer-employee. Okay, employer-employee transaction will be considered as a non-supply, right? Now see the second one. Check what are they telling us in the second one. Services by any court or tribunal. Okay, services by any court or tribunal established under any law for the timing in force, and it also applies to consumer disputes redressal commission. Okay, now here they are not talking about advocates. Please, this is the place where many students get confused. Okay, here we are not talking about services provided by senior advocate, lawyers, arbitrators. No. Okay, they are the professionals. Here we are talking about the services provided by court or tribunal. Right? So here, the court does the hearing, the tribunal listens to the case, they charge something called as court fees. So whatever services is provided by court or tribunal, that is not considered as a supply, and hence the question of GST will not apply at all. Right? And this is also applicable for consumer forums also. You must have heard, people go to consumer courts, consumer forum, consumer redressal forums, etc. So they are also considered as court or tribunals itself. So whatever fees that court or tribunal or these forums are taking, on that also there is no GST applicable. It is not considered as a supply at all. Right? Okay. Then after that, the third point. If there are any functions performed by the members of parliament, members of state legislature, members of municipality, member of other local authority, MPs, MLAs, etc., whatever functions they are performing and whatever charges they are getting for that, on that also there is no GST applicable. Similarly, if there are any duties which are performed by any person who holds any post in pursuance of the provisions of the Constitution of India in that capacity. Okay, example I have written there. Example, Prime Minister of India is holding a position as per Constitution, right? Similarly, President of India is holding a position as per Constitution, and they are providing their services to the country, and for which they are getting some consideration in return. Okay, on that also there is no GST applicable. Similarly, if there are any duties performed by any person, okay, any duties performed by any person as a chairperson or member or director in a body established by central government or state government or local authority. Okay, example, chairperson of SEBI, okay, chairperson of RBI, director of RBI, director of SEBI, like any such people who are holding the position of chairperson or director or such position they are holding in such a body which is established by central government or state government or local authority. Example, RBI is a body established by central government, right? Similarly, let's say for example ICAI is also a body established by the central government. So ICAI president's charges, like whatever honorarium etc. they take, on that also there is no GST applicable. Yes, so MPs, MLAs, President, Prime Minister, your SEBI chairperson, etc., whatever consideration they get for performing the duties, on that GST is not applicable. Yes, okay. Then after that, next point. See what is the next point. Services of funeral, burial, crematorium or mortuary, including the transportation of deceased. Okay, funeral, burial, crematorium or mortuary, including the transportation of deceased. So this is death related services, like at that after death of a particular person, that person is taken to the crematorium or to some place where the final rites etc. are performed. So the person who is providing the services, the place etc., and whatever services he provides in relation to that, that is totally exempted from GST. Not exempted, that is totally considered as not a supply. Okay, it's not exempted, it is not a supply at all, it is totally outside the purview of GST. No GST is applicable, it is considered as a non-supply. Okay, it is considered as a non-supply. Okay, and including transportation of the deceased person. Let's say there is someone who is providing ambulance services for transportation of dead bodies of deceased person etc. Whatever charges he take, charges obviously they will take, but on those charges GST is not applicable, right? Okay, then this is not about, here we are not talking about normal ambulance where we take a patient to the hospital or we bring him home etc. Here we are talking only about death, like dead persons. Yes, okay. Then here again point number 5 important. Okay, sale of land we already know. Okay, on that GST is not applicable. That is because it is given under schedule number 3. And sale of building subject to para 5B of schedule number 2. Just now we did sale of building subject to para 5B of schedule number 2. So if a building is sold after CC or first occupation, whichever is earlier, means where the entire consideration, okay, entire consideration is received after completion certificate or first occupation, whichever is earlier, then that is considered as sale of immobile property, and hence it is outside the purview of GST, means no GST will be applicable on the same, and it is considered as a non-supply. Yes, but even if some consideration is paid before CC or first occupation, whichever is earlier, then GST is going to be applicable, because then it was considered as supply of construction service. Yes. Acha, now when we talk about the sale of land, this land can be a barren land, this can be a developed land, this can be leveled land, this can be unleveled land, it can be developed land, undeveloped land, anything, any type of land. Okay, any type of land that will be considered as a non-supply, right? Then the next point, 6th point, again very important, very important, actionable claims. Okay, actionable claims other than specified actionable claims. Do you recollect yesterday, okay, in the last lecture we had studied about this actionable claims? Yes, actionable claims is where you can claim the money from the other person after fulfillment of the conditions. An actionable claim was considered as goods. Do you recollect that? Actionable claim was included in the definition of goods. And in actionable claims, I had told you there are two types. One is specified actionable claims and the other one was other actionable claims. And in specified actionable claims, we had done about 6 specified actionable claims. Do you recollect about that? Lottery was there, betting was there, gambling was there, horse racing was there, then casinos was there, and online money gaming. Okay, online money. Only these six were considered as specified actionable claims, and anything other actionable claims. Example can be your insurance claim. We had done the circular, etc. also. That is considered as other actionable claims. Yes. So here what are they telling? In schedule number 3, they are telling that actionable claims other than specified actionable claims, means this part, that is other actionable claims, is considered as non-supply. Okay, other actionable claim is considered as a non-supply. So basically when we receive insurance claim, okay, when we receive insurance claim from insurance company, on that there is no GST applicable, right? But when we talk about specified actionable claim is considered as a supply. Okay, and that too it is considered as supply of goods. Ma'am, why supply of goods? Because actionable claim was considered as goods only. Okay, even if these do not sound like goods, okay, even if these do not sound like goods, still it is considered as supply of goods. Manageable till here? Yes, that was my 6th point. Simple till here, everyone? Sure. Now see the next point, everyone here. 7th point, again important. Okay, 7th point talks about out and out supplies, that is merchant trading. Okay, very nice point, very simple point. Now let's say for example, you are sitting here in India. Okay, I'll write it here. You are sitting here in India. Okay, you are purchasing goods from US. Okay, you are purchasing goods from US and you have a customer in UK. So your transaction is such that you will source the goods from US. The goods are not going to touch India. Okay, the goods are not going to touch India. You are instructing US to send the goods to your customer in UK directly. What's the point in calling to India and then sending it to UK? So such a type of transaction is called as out and out supplies. Okay, it is called as out and out supplies, or you can call it as a merchant trading. Because here the goods have not touched India. I know that you have done a transaction in India, but because the goods have not touched in India, because the goods have not entered into India, so this transaction is considered as a non-supply. Okay, if you would have purchased the goods from there and then you would have exported the goods to UK, then it would have been considered as a supply, because at the time of import you would have paid the custom duty, IGST and all those things. But here because the goods have not touched India, so it will not be considered as a supply. Okay, this is considered as what? This is considered as out and out supplies. Right, then the next point, check the next point. 3 points are coming in this 8th one. Okay, please try to understand. First one, supply of warehoused goods. Okay, supply of warehoused goods to any person before clearance for home consumption. Okay, now for this I need to tell you a few terms. Please try to understand. Okay, this we will study when we do customs law. Okay, that whenever you import the goods from the other country, the goods come at the port. Okay, let's say the goods come at the port, customs airport, the goods come there. Okay, after that you have got two options. Either you can deposit the goods in the warehouse. Okay, in the custom bonded warehouse you can deposit the goods, and later, at a later point of time, you can clear the goods for home consumption. Okay, here home consumption does not mean personal consumption. Home consumption means you can clear the goods, you can take the goods from the customs authorities. Okay, so now listen. So when the goods are imported, it is there at the port, then the officer will ask you that what are you supposed to do with the goods, or what do you want to do with the goods. So either you can directly take it for home consumption, or you can deposit it, you can keep it in the warehouse for some days and then you can clear it for home consumption. Okay, now let's say when the goods are kept in the warehouse. Okay, when the goods are kept in the warehouse. Okay, warehoused goods. That's why the name is warehoused goods. Warehoused goods means the goods which are kept in the warehouse. Okay, now if the goods are already kept in the warehouse and before you could clear it for home consumption. Okay, before you could clear it for home consumption, before that you have already sold it to someone. Okay, Arpita imported the goods, Arpita deposited the goods in the warehouse, but now Arpita says that no, I don't want the goods and I am selling it to someone while the goods are kept in the warehouse. So here they are telling that as of now, GST will not get attracted. As of now, this will be considered as a non-supply. But ma'am, you imported the goods, na? Yes, I imported the goods. But we will study later that the taxable event will arise only when the goods are cleared for home consumption. So Arpita imported the goods, she kept it in the warehouse, she sold it to someone. Okay, now till the time I am selling it to someone, till that time taxable event has not occurred. Okay, now that someone, let's say that Mr. X, can we say he will clear the goods for home consumption? Let's say he will clear the goods for home consumption. So the moment he clears the goods for home consumption, he will pay the customs duty, he will pay the GST on that. Everything is his responsibility. Because the taxable event arises only when you clear for home consumption. Anything done before this will not attract custom duty also, and it will not attract GST. Are you understanding this? Okay, so when I am selling it to Mr. X, okay, in the warehouse, at that time also no GST will be applicable. Let's say Mr. X further sells it to Mr. Y in the warehouse itself. Again, no GST is applicable. Okay, let's say Mr. Y then sells it to Mr. Z. No GST is applicable. Acha, later Mr. Z clears it for home consumption. At that time, he will have to pay the customs duty plus he will have to pay the GST also on the. Are you understanding this? Yes, that was the A point. Next, double A. Okay, similar point. Double A is also similar point. See what are they telling? This was added some time back, this double A point. See what are they telling us here, everyone. Now here, supply of goods warehoused. Okay, again the warehouse goods. But here, this time it is warehoused in the special economic zone, SEZ area. Okay, SEZ, special, any unit or developer who is operating in the SEZ area means their main purpose is to do exports. Okay, so supply of goods which are warehoused in SEZ or in free trade warehousing zone to any person before clearance for export or before clearance to DTA. Okay, now please try to understand. The goods are already kept in a warehouse. Okay, the goods are, let's say these are the goods. The goods are already kept in the warehouse, and this warehouse is in SEZ or in free trade warehousing zone. Okay, this is basically a concessional tax area. Okay, the warehouse is here. Now, why have we kept the goods in warehouse? So that either later we can export the goods to the other country, or we can clear it into DTA. DTA is a domestic tariff area, that is normal area, non-SEZ area. Okay, now while the goods were kept in the warehouse, okay, while the goods were kept in this warehouse, if during this time, if you sell the goods to any other person, then this will be considered as non-supply. Same logic, okay, same logic. Okay, but later when that person exports the good, or later when that person sells the goods in DTA, at that time GST will come into picture. Okay, later when that person exports the good, that will be considered as a zero rated supply, which we have already studied. And when that person sells the goods in DTA, then that will be considered as a normal taxable supply. Right, but while the goods are kept in the warehouse, similarly, while the goods are kept in the warehouse, if you are selling it to someone, or that someone sells it to another someone, it will not be considered as a supply. Yes, and the last one, okay, B point talks about high seas sales. High seas sales. Okay, now what do you mean by this high seas sales? Okay, now let's say, for example, I'll give you an example for this. Let's say you are importing some goods from US. Okay, for example, you are importing some goods by US by ship, for example. Okay, now when the ship was in waters, means it has not come into India, it is still in transit. Okay, the goods are still in transit. Now while the goods are in transit, at that time I am the purchaser, I am the importer. Okay, while the goods were in transit, now I have sold the goods to someone else by way of transfer of documents. Basically, I have transferred the title to someone else, but the goods are still there. Okay, means this other person is purchasing the goods from me without even seeing the goods. Okay, just by transfer of documents or just by transfer of title, I have sold the goods to this other person. So now can we say the goods have not entered India at all? So this transaction means when I am selling it to someone while the goods are still in waters, or while the goods are still in high seas, if I am selling it to someone, then this sale transaction will not attract GST. Are you understanding this? Yes. So now when the goods will come into India, can we say this other person will get it clear? So this other person will pay the custom duty, this other person will pay the IGST, and all those things will happen. But when I am selling it to someone else while the goods are still in waters, okay, at that time it is considered as a non-supply. Can you see this point, everyone? Supply of goods by consignee to any other person by endorsement of documents of title to the goods after the goods have been dispatched from the port of origin. Okay, means the goods have already been dispatched from US, from the port of origin located outside India, but before clearance for home consumption, before it has reached India, before I have cleared it for home consumption, if before that, if I have sold it to someone else just by endorsement of documents, just by transfer of documents, that will not be considered as a supply. Simple till here, manageable till here, doable. Yes. Okay. Then after that, the last 2 points. Okay, last 2 points talk about insurance. Okay, it talks about insurance. This was also newly added. Let's try these pointers, everyone. Now here, first point talks about co-insurance premium. Okay, co-insurance premium. I'll give you the example that will make more sense. Okay, point number 9, we are doing co-insurance premium. So there is a company called as lead insurer. Okay, lead insurer. Lead insurer is, let's say, for example, SBI. Okay, SBI Insurance. SBI Insurance is the lead insurer. It is providing insurance services, let's say, to a customer. Okay, and now, so basically this customer would have taken a policy from the lead insurer, and this person is required to pay the premium to the lead insurer. Yes. Now this lead insurer, okay, this lead insurer goes and contacts a co-insurer. Means it is going and contacting some other company, let's say HDFC Insurance, and it is telling to HDFC Insurance that can we do this contract together? Can we do the contract with this particular customer together? Maybe it was a big high risk policy, etc. So can we do it together? So HDFC Insurance says that okay, we will do sharing of premium, we will do sharing of risk, and we can do it together. Yes. So the main insurance company who will complete all the paperwork, etc., that is called as the lead insurer. Okay, and then there is another insurance company called as the co-insurer. They will together safeguard this particular customer. Okay. Now listen, please try to understand. Can we say both of them are now liable to the customer. Okay, so can we say even the co-insurer is taking some risk? So even the premium which is paid by the customer, can we say that is to be shared with the co-insurer also? Let's say the premium amount for this particular year is equal to 1 lakh rupees. So customer is going to pay the premium of 1 lakh rupees to the lead insurer. And now, as per the agreement, let's say they have decided for a 60-40 ratio, means 60% to the lead insurer and 40% premium to the co-insurer. So can we say customer will pay full 1 lakh? Customer will pay full 1 lakh to the lead insurer? Yes, then lead insurer will share that premium. Out of that 1 lakh, it will share 40,000 with the co-insurer. Normal. Now I want you to understand the impact of GST. What will be the impact of GST? So here they are telling the impact of GST will be such that if lead insurer has paid GST, can we say he is doing a supply of service? He is providing supply of insurance services. So he will charge the customer. He will charge the customer 1 lakh rupee, let's say plus 18%, for example. He is charging this much amount from the customer. Now, so customer will pay the GST portion to the lead insurer on full 1 lakh. And then he will pay, the lead insurer will go and pay it to the government. So if they are telling, if the main insurer has paid GST on full 1 lakh to the government, then whatever sharing is done with the co-insurer, that will not be considered as a supply. Means sharing of premium by lead insurer to the co-insurer will not be considered as a supply. Why? Because anyway government has got GST on the entire 1 lakh in the first transaction itself. So no need for the co-insurer to raise an invoice on the lead insurer and then lead insurer charging GST, etc. No, not at all required. Yes, this was told here. Can we read this once, everyone? Illogical now, because already on that 1 lakh full tax was paid. So see, activity of apportionment of co-insurance premium by the lead insurer to the co-insurer for insurance services jointly supplied by both of them, subject to the condition that, see what is the condition? The lead insurer pays the GST on the entire amount of premium paid by the insured. So whatever premium was paid by the insured, that is by the customer, on that, if on the entire amount, if the amount is paid by the lead insurer, then no, whatever 40,000 was apportioned by the lead insurer to the co-insurer, that will not be considered as a supply. Logical, simple now? Yes. Okay. Then after that, the last point, similar point. Okay. Last point again relates to insurance itself. That is the point number 10. Okay. Let's do point number 10. Everyone with me. Okay. Let's do point number 10. Now here, you must have studied maybe somewhere about reinsurance or ceding commission. Have you heard about it? Reinsurance premium, ceding commission, etc. No? Be it yes or no. Listen to me. Okay. Please try to understand. Okay, please try to understand. Now, let's say SBI Insurance. Okay, again we'll take the example of same company. Let's say SBI Insurance company is there and it has entered into a contract with a customer. Okay, and customer is ready to pay the premium for that. Now, when SBI Insurance company was in talks with the customer, SBI Insurance company said that I alone cannot take the risk. And we need one more insurance company together. Okay, I will reinsure. So basically, SBI Insurance company has agreed to the customer that okay, we will take up your policy, but SBI Insurance company has done the reinsurance also with another insurance company. Okay, with another insurance company, let's say HDFC Insurance Company. So basically, SBI is not ready to bear the risk alone, and that's why it has contacted HDFC Insurance Company for reinsurance. Okay, for reinsurance. So basically, SBI has taken the policy from the SBI is going to give the policy to the customer. It is going to take the premium from the customer, and further it is going to do the reinsurance with another insurance company. So it is going to also pass on the risk to HDFC Insurance. Yes. Now, how does this work? How does the payment of premium, etc. work in this case? Please try to understand. Okay, how does it work? Now, normally, just like your above point, okay, just like your above point, here also the the customer will pay the premium. Okay, customer will pay the premium. Let's say premium amount is equal to 1 lakh. Okay, just for simplicity, I am taking this. Premium amount is equal to 1 lakh, which the customer will pay to SBI Insurance. Okay, now SBI Insurance has entered into a reinsurance agreement with the HDFC Insurance. See, here it's not that the both of them are jointly insuring the customer. It's not that. Okay, customer is in touch with SBI Insurance Company, and then SBI Insurance Company is going to pass on the contract of insurance to the HDFC Insurance Company. Okay, now let's say we have taken 1 lakh rupee from the customer, but SBI, when it enters into an agreement with HDFC Insurance, it says that I can give you a premium only of 80,000 rupees. Okay, but the contract is obviously set in that way, otherwise it will be a loss for SBI Insurance Company, right? Okay, so can we say here there are two contracts? First contract is SBI is providing the services to the customer. Okay, I hope you can see this, everyone. First contract is SBI is providing the services to the customer, for which customer is going to pay a premium of 1 lakh rupee. Insurance services is provided. Yes, and second contract here is HDFC is going to provide the reinsurance services to SBI, for which SBI is required to give some premium, and it is going to give a premium of 80,000 to HDFC. Are you able to understand this? Yes. Now listen. Till here it is okay. Okay. Now, generally in such contracts, SBI will also charge some commission. Okay, SBI will also charge some commission from HDFC. SBI will charge some commission from HDFC because SBI will say, boss, I have given you a client, I have given you a customer, so I need some commission for that. Okay, so here basically SBI is providing services, third one, SBI is providing services to HDFC. Okay, for which HDFC is required to pay something called as reinsurance commission or ceding commission, whatever you want to call it as, reinsurance commission or ceding commission. Okay, it is giving a client, it is giving access to a client, for which obviously HDFC will have to pay some commission to SBI. Okay, let's say for example that commission amount is equal to 10,000. Okay, so SBI says that, okay, I will give you a premium of 80,000 rupees because you are securing the client, but in return I need a commission of 10,000 rupees. Are you able to understand till here? Yes. Okay, now how does the GST taxability work here? Please try to understand. Okay, please try to understand. Now see, services by insurer, that is SBI, to reinsurer, that is HDFC, for which ceding commission or reinsurance commission is deducted from the premium paid by the insurer to the reinsurer, subject to the condition that GST is paid by the reinsurer on the gross insurance premium payable by the insurer, inclusive of the said ceding commission. Now listen. Now forget about the customer transaction. Let's talk about the reinsurance transaction. Can we say SBI was supposed to pay 80,000 to HDFC in the second one? And SBI had to receive 10,000 from HDFC. So they decided that let's set off this transaction at 70,000. Let's set off this transaction at 70,000. That is SBI will pass on only, instead of 80,000, it will pass on only 70,000 rupees to the HDFC. Why? 10,000 it is keeping as commission. So now here they are telling, what are they telling? GST will be applicable. Okay, GST will be applicable only on what amount? Please try to understand this. Okay, any services which is provided by insurer to the reinsurer. This one, insurer to the reinsurer. Okay, SBI to HDFC, for which ceding commission is deducted from the reinsurance premium paid. That is 10,000 was deducted from that premium paid of 80,000, subject to the condition that GST is paid by the reinsurer. GST is paid by the reinsurer on the gross insurance premium payable by the insurer. So, subject to the condition that GST is paid by reinsurer. who is the reinsurer? Can we say HDFC is the reinsurer? Yes, if HDFC has paid GST on the second transaction fully, if GST is paid on this 80,000 premium fully by HDFC, then no need to pay separate GST on this 10,000. Why? Can we say this 10,000 is a part of this 80,000 only? So if HDFC has paid GST on this entire 80,000, see, transaction was of 80,000, but can we say the monetary bank transaction would have been only of 70,000 rupees? So they are telling that if on this 80,000 anyway full GST has been paid, then whatever is getting deducted from this 80,000, the 10,000 which is getting deducted as commission, on that this will not be considered. This transaction will not be considered as a supply, provided the reinsurer, okay, provided HDFC has paid the full GST on this gross reinsurance premium. On this full 80,000, if HDFC has paid the commission, then then the next transaction, ceding commission transaction, will not be considered as a supply. Are you able to understand this? Are you able to understand this? Yes? Okay. Okay, this is what was told here. Okay, in the first one, what was happening earlier? What was happening? Main insurance company itself was paying the entire premium. Okay, so on sharing, there was no, on sharing, on 1 lakh, the entire premium, entire GST was paid by the main insurance company. So on apportionment, there was no need to pay a GST again. Here they are telling if the reinsurance company has paid GST on the total amount, okay, then on the ceding commission, which is going to be deducted from the same reinsurance premium, no GST is required to be paid. Are you understanding this? Yes, simple, manageable. We'll do questions on this, don't worry about it. Okay, so this was all about my schedule number 3. Okay, whatever transactions we studied in schedule number 3, that is considered as non-supply. Okay, non-supply means you don't have to think whether it is supply of goods, supply of services. There cannot be any GST because it is a non-supply. Yes, what all transactions did we study here? First one was employer-employee. Okay, there we did the circular about ESOPs. Then we did services provided by court or tribunal. Okay, then similarly consumer forums, etc. Then functions by MPs, MLAs and all that, president, prime minister, etc. Then we did death related services. Then we did sale of land, sale of ready building. Yes, then we did actionable claims other than specified actionable claims. Then we did out and out trading, out and out supplies, merchant trading, we did US to UK directly. Okay, then we did warehouse goods sale, not a supply. High sea sale, when the goods were in waters, we sold it to someone. Again, it is not a supply. Okay, then the last 2 points that we did, that was talking about the insurance. First one was joint insurance. Okay, lead insurance and co-insurance apportionment will not attract GST. And then we did about reinsurance. In case of reinsurance, the transaction with customer will attract GST. The second transaction, that is reinsurance company supplying services to insurance company, that will attract GST. There, if the reinsurance company has paid GST on the entire 80,000, then the ceding commission which we have to give back to the insurance company, that will not be considered as a supply. Simple, done? Yes, okay. Okay, so that was a particular point. Now, then the point B and point C, so that we can just finish off our non-supplies part. See, what is this point number B and point number C talking? Point number B talks about non-supplies notified by the government, which is given under section number 7(2)(b). Now, there are 2 specific transactions here. Okay, 2 specific transactions which are coming here, where they have specifically told that this will not be considered as a supply. Okay, first one is any supply, okay, or any services by central government, state government or local authority. Okay, any services provided by government or by local authority to general public, to any person. Okay, when they are providing the services, ma'am, which services? Any services which were entrusted, okay, which were entrusted to panchayat or municipality. There are certain services which are anyway entrusted to panchayat and municipality by the Indian constitution. Means Indian constitution says that there are certain work which is to be done by the panchayat or municipality. Example, making of roads, maintaining of roads, maintaining gardens, providing clean drinking water, providing electricity, maintaining good street lights, etc. Okay, these are the functions which are entrusted, okay, which are handed over to the panchayat or municipality. Panchayat in case of rural areas, municipality in case of urban areas, and that is entrusted by the Indian constitution. So whatever work was entrusted to panchayat or municipality, if those services are provided by government or local authority, so and for that if the government or local authority is charging any consideration in return for providing these services, then that is considered as a non-supply. Okay, example, maintenance of street lights. Okay, that was the work given to the municipality. But let's say if that is done by the government, okay, if that maintenance of street light is done by the government, for which the government is charging some consideration. Okay, government is charging some consideration. Let's say outside a society, outside a cooperative society, the road was not proper. So the cooperative society contacted the government to make the road good, for which it charged some consideration from the cooperative society. So that is considered as a non-supply, because they are telling that this is their work that they have to do. So if they are charging any consideration, at least don't charge the GST on that, and that is considered as a non-supply. Okay, see, it is written here, any services which is provided by central government, state government, local authority by way of any activity in relation to function entrusted to panchayat as per this article 243G. As per article 243G of the Indian constitution in case of panchayat, or a municipality under article number 243W by the Indian constitution. Means so and so articles of the Indian constitution says that these are the work of the panchayat and these are the work of the municipality, and if those services are discharged by the government or local authority, then that is considered neither as supply of goods nor as supply of services. Okay, this is one thing. We will again have the impact of this when we do the exemptions and the charge of GST chapter. Okay, and then the next one, check what is the next one. Next one is a very different transaction. Here they are talking about grant of alcoholic liquor license. Okay, grant of alcoholic liquor license. Now, whenever we see alcoholic liquor for human consumption is anyway outside the purview of GST. Okay, on that still the old laws are applicable. And if I want to start a liquor shop in my state, okay, then I will have to go to the state government and I will have to take the license from the state government. Okay, and for giving the license, the state government charges something called as license fee from me. So state government is providing the services to me by giving me the license, for which I am required to pay the license fees. Okay, on this license fee, okay, this exception is applicable only for alcoholic liquor license, where the license is given by the state government. On this license fee, there is no GST applicable. This is neither considered as supply of goods nor considered as supply of services. But again, I am telling you, see, we have to go to the government for multiple licenses. Okay, so this non-supply is not applicable for all the licenses. This non-supply is applicable only for the alcoholic liquor license. Are you understanding this? So this special dispensation is applicable only for liquor licenses by state government and not applicable for other licenses. Okay, so please remember these 2 points specifically. This is given in section number 7.2b, where these two transactions are considered as non-supplies. These are specifically notified by the government. Okay, specifically notified by the government. Manageable, understandable? Okay, last C point. Check what is the C point talking about. C point is not a really very important point, but this was clarified by way of a circular. Okay, now here what are they telling? What are they telling us here is, now let's say if there is, okay, it is actually very nonsense, but still try to understand here. Let's say if there is some movement of vehicle happening. Okay, let's say this is a vehicle. Okay, let's say this is a truck. And this truck is carrying some goods within it. Okay, and it is traveling from one place to another. Transportation of goods is happening from one place to another of this vehicle. Okay, so will this be considered as supply? It will be considered as a supply. What will be considered as a supply? The goods which are there in this vehicle, that will be considered as supply of goods. Okay, then the transportation charges that the transporter is going to charge, that will be considered as supply of services. But will it be considered as supply of vehicle? Are we selling the vehicle to someone? Are we selling this truck to someone? No, the truck is just sent from one place to another and it will come back to the same person. So it will not be considered as supply of conveyance. Are you understanding this? That is what was clarified in this circular. Yes, so see what are they telling? Interstate movement of various modes of conveyance between distinct persons, including trains, buses, trucks, tankers, trailers, vessel, container, aircraft, which is carrying goods or passengers or for repairs and maintenance. If that vehicle is going from one place to another, then it will not be considered as a supply of that vehicle, except in cases where movement is for further supply of same conveyance. If we are sending the vehicle so that vehicle can be sold, then that will be a supply of vehicle. But here we are not selling the vehicle now. Here we are just using the vehicle. So this cannot be considered as a supply of conveyance. Yes, and similarly, everyone, please try to understand. Let's say, there are certain tools, okay, spare parts, tools, etc., which are kept in a conveyance, okay, and that is just getting transported with the vehicle. Wherever the vehicle is going, the tools are also going. So are we transferring the tools? No, we are not transferring the tools. So it cannot be considered as supply of tools and it cannot be considered as supply of vehicle also. Okay, only when you are selling that, okay, only when you are supplying that, only when you are transferring that, only then it will be considered as a supply. Nonsense, but it is what it is. Yes, so this is what was given in this circuit. Manageable. Okay. With this, we are finally done with our section number 7. Okay, section number 7 was talking about what? Section number 7 was talking about my supply. Yes, and now see, at least from section number 7, you will be able to identify that whether it is a supply or not. Okay, once you come to know that whether it is a supply or not, then you will have to see whether the supply is made by a taxable person. Okay, whether the supply is made by a taxable person. Taxable person means, either that person is already registered or that person is liable to get himself registered. So first of all, it should be a supply. Second one, it should be done by a taxable person. And third one, it should be a taxable supply. Do you recollect yesterday we had studied about the types of supplies? Types of supply means taxable supply and exempt supply. In exempt supply, we had nil rated, exempted by way of exemption notification, and non-taxable supply. So it should be a taxable supply, including zero rated supply. If all these three conditions are fulfilled, then we can say that GST will be applicable. So first of all, it should be a supply as per section number 7. Okay, then the person who is doing the supply should be a taxable person. Taxable person means either he should be registered under GST or he should be liable to get himself registered. And last, he should be doing which type of a supply? He should be doing a taxable supply. See, if he does an exempt supply, then anyway there is no GST applicable, na? So he should be doing a taxable. Are you understanding this? All those points are written here. Supply, when is it leviable to GST? That point is given. Done everyone? Yes. Okay, is done. Let's go ahead. Chalo. Let's start with the last section, that is section number 8, which talks about composite and mixed supply. So till here, basically our section number 7, concept of supply is done. We also studied that when will a supply become taxable supply, okay, or when will GST be applicable on it. Now going on to the last concept of the chapter, which is composite and mixed supply. Okay, first we will understand it and then we can just go and read it from the textbook once, just for our comfort. Yes. Now listen. Now there are, I want to classify it in 3 types. First one is something called as composite supply. Okay, next one is something called as mixed supply. And last one is something called as individual supply. Okay. Please try to understand. Okay, I'll give you the example. Obviously, section number 8 talks about composite supply and mixed supply, but I want you to understand the concept of individual supply also. Okay, now listen. Let's say if I am purchasing a mobile phone. Okay, if I am purchasing a mobile phone and along with that, if I am purchasing the same phone's cover also. Okay, I am purchasing the same phone's cover also. Okay, and this purchase, if I have done together, means under a single invoice, then this is to be treated as a composite supply. Okay, why this is to be treated as a composite supply? Because they are telling that whenever someone is doing two or more taxable supplies together, okay, whenever the supply is made by a taxable person of two or more taxable supplies, okay, two or more taxable supplies, both of the supplies are taxable, and if it is done together and which is done together in ordinary course of business, means generally these two go hand in hand only. Okay, then in such a case, okay, these are naturally bundled together in ordinary course of business, and these are generally supplied in conjunction or generally supplied together only in ordinary course of business, and out of these two supplies, one of them is a principal supply. Okay, one of them, if it is a principal supply. Example, can we say if we are purchasing a mobile phone, let's say value is 70,000, and if I am purchasing a mobile phone cover worth rupees 1,000, he is going to invoice me for 71,000. Out of this, can we say this cover is generally purchased with this mobile phone together only? Yes, so this will be considered as the composite supply. And out of this, which one is the principal supply? Out of this, can I say mobile phone is the principal supply? Okay, cover we are purchasing for this mobile phone, so this will be considered as an ancillary supply. Mobile phone will be considered as a principal supply. So on this 71,000, one single rate of GST will be applicable. Which rate will be applicable, ma'am? The rate of principal supply will be applicable. Means whatever is the rate of GST on principal supply. Okay, let's say on this mobile phone, for example, let's say on this mobile phone the rate of GST is 40% and on this cover the rate of GST is 5%. Now still, because it is considered as a composite supply, on this entire 71,000 the rate of GST of 40% will be applicable. Are you able to understand? Whatever is the rate, okay, whatever is the rate of the principal supply, same will be applicable on the total amount, provided we are able to prove that yes, it is a composite supply. Are you understanding this? Yes, one more example I want to give it to you here. Let's say I am purchasing a iPhone. Okay, I am purchasing iPhone 17 of let's say 1 lakh rupee, and along with that I am purchasing iPad cover. For iPhone 17, I wanted to flaunt my iPhone, so I did not want a cover, but for my iPad I wanted a cover. So I purchased a cover of rupees 1,000. Total amount charged in the invoice is equal to 1,01,000. Now, are there two or more supplies done together? Yes. Okay. Are these naturally bundled together? iPhone 17 and iPad cover, is it naturally bundled together? No, it is not naturally bundled together. So even if he is making a single invoice, no problem, but GST will be charged individually. Okay, that is GST on 1 lakh will be separate and GST on 1,000 will be separate. And now, are we going to call it as an individual supply? Are we going to call it as a composite supply? No. Okay, we are not going to call it as a composite supply. Are you understanding this? Okay, so he has written both the items separately in the invoice now. Okay, even if the total is done together, but both the items are written separately in the invoice, but these are not naturally bundled together. So this will be considered as individual supplies. Okay, individually it is going to be charged. Manageable till here? Yes. Example, when we go to DMart. Okay, when we go to DMart or any other, departmental store, big bazaar or those kind of, or, smart bazaar, etc., those kind of stores, you purchase multiple items. Now we purchase some food items, we purchase some crockery, or we purchase some kitchen utensils from there, we purchase a bed sheet from there. So they give me a total bill. Okay, they give me a total bill. Now, none of these supplies are naturally bundled together. So, on each of the item, if you check the bill, they charge the GST individually. So, that is considered as individual supply. So, only if two or more taxable supplies are provided together and which are naturally bundled together in ordinary course of business, means generally both of these things are provided together only, then we can consider that as a composite supply. Okay, let's say for example, if a hospital is providing hospital treatment. Okay, hospital treatment is provided. Let's say for that charges is 1 lakh rupee, and along with that hospital treatment, they are giving me food also, for which they have charged 10,000 rupees. Okay, to the patient, to the admitted patient, they are giving the food also. So total amount charged is equal to 1,10,000. Now, hospital treatment plus hospital food to the patient. Can we say these are naturally bundled together? I have mainly gone to the hospital for treatment now. So this is my principal supply, and food they have given me ancillary. But these are provided in ordinarily, these are naturally bundled together. So yes, on this entire 1,10,000, whatever is the rate of GST applicable on hospital treatment, that will be applicable on 1,10,000. Manageable till here, done till here? Yes. Okay. Now listen. There was a person who got admitted in the hospital. Hospital bill was 1 lakh rupee. Okay, and it was a 5-star hospital. Nowadays hospitals are also 5-star, 7-star. It was a 5-star hospital. On the ground floor of the hospital, there were certain shops. Okay, on ground floor of the hospital, there were certain shops. And let's say there was a pen shop. Okay, and I purchased a very costly pen. I purchased a very costly pen of rupees 10,000. While at the time of discharge, when I was getting out of the hospital, I thought I'll just go to that shop and I'll buy a pen. And I purchased a shop, and that was also billed by the hospital only. Okay, that was also billed by the hospital, and let's say they charged me 1,10,000. Now tell me, is it a composite supply or it is not a composite supply? It is not a composite supply. Is pen generally bundled together with hospital services? No. So this will be taxed individually. On hospital, separate GST. On pen, separate GST. Understanding this? Yes. Similarly, there can be multiple examples of that. Okay. And what is the rate of GST applicable in case of composite supply? Whatever is the rate applicable on principal supply. Okay. Whatever is the rate applicable on principal supply, that rate will be applicable on the entire composite supply. Simple, understandable? Yes. Manageable na? Chalo, theek hai. Okay, then after that, we have got a few circulars. Let's discuss about these circulars, everyone. Now, supply of printed books. Okay, supply of printed books, pamphlets, brochures, envelopes, annual returns, leaflets, cartons, boxes, etc., where content are supplied by the recipient and raw material belongs to the supplier. Then it will be considered as supply of printing services, where printing is considered as the principal supply. Okay, now let's say I go and contact ABC printers. Okay, ABC printers is there in Mumbai. I go and contact ABC printers and I say that I want to get my IDT book printed. So ABC printers says that okay, we can do the printing. Okay, it is ready to provide the services to Arpita. So ABC printers ask me, what do you want to print? I said I want to print this IDT book. So Arpita is going to provide the file. Okay, Arpita is going to provide the file for printing to ABC printers. Okay, content I am going to give. Okay, content I am going to give to ABC printer. Then ABC printer will use the papers. Okay, obviously it will use its own paper, A4 size paper, etc. It will use its paper, it will use its ink, and then it is going to do the printing. Okay, then it will do the printing and then it will make the book ready for me. Right? So now the question that arises here is the services which is provided by ABC printer. Will it be considered as sale of books or will it be considered as printing services? Okay, so now here they are telling that agreed that ABC printers is going to use some raw material. Okay, but content was belonging to the recipient. Recipient is Arpita, content was belonging to the recipient. Okay, and here the principal supply, the main supply is not the paper, ink, etc. Here the main supply is of printing. So this will be considered as supply of printing services. Okay, this will be considered as supply of printing services and hence this will be considered as service. Okay, so whatever, let's say it has charged 5 lakh rupees from me. Okay, it has charged 5 lakh rupees from me for printing. Okay, so this will be this entire 5 lakh. Okay, now can we say in this 5 lakh, it will include its printing charges also. It will include the cost of paper and cost of ink also. But we are not required to do the bifurcation because here printing is considered as the principal supply. Okay, printing is considered as a principal supply, and whatever is the rate of GST applicable on printing services, that will be applicable on this entire 5 lakh. Okay, generally what I ask my students is, see, when I am giving you, okay, when I am giving you this particular book, okay, when I am giving you this particular book, okay, let's say I'm giving you this particular compiler book. Okay, what is important here? Paper is important, ink is important, or the content is important? What is more important here? So obviously your answer will be, ma'am, content is more important. Okay, paper, raw material is not important. So just remember it in that manner. Okay, content is important. Without content printing, the book would have been zero for you. What will you do with a blank book? Right? So here it will be considered as supply of services. Yes? Are you clear till here, everyone? Yes, so similarly, printed books, pamphlets. In pamphlets also, if I want to get my pamphlet printed, I will have to give the content. Okay, similarly for brochures. Similarly, if on envelopes, okay, on envelopes, if I want to get my name printed. Similarly for annual reports, leaflets, carton boxes, etc., where I am providing the content and the other person is just going to provide the printing services, so it will be considered as supply of printing services. Okay, but listen, let's say for example, I want to get my tissue papers printed. Okay, in my classes, we have got a canteen. Okay, and in the canteen, we keep tissue papers for students. They can use it after they have their food, etc. You clean their hands using that tissue paper. Okay, on this tissue paper, I want to print my logo also. I want to print the logo of Arpita Tulsyan. Okay, so I go to a printer. Okay, I go to a printer and I tell to the printer, okay, this printer is there, Arpita is the recipient. I tell to the printer, sir, on the tissue paper, I want my logo to be printed. Okay, on the tissue paper is one example. Similarly, napkin is there, letter cards, printed envelopes, etc. are there, etc. So here, I tell to the printer, sir, you only purchase the tissue paper. Okay, you only purchase the tissue paper and you only do the printing. Okay, everything is done by you. I will provide you my logo. I will provide you my logo in soft copy and then you do the printing. So now here the services which are provided by the printer will be considered as sale of tissue papers. Okay, this will be considered as sale of tissue papers. Why? What is important here? That logo is important, logo printing is important, or the tissue paper is important? Obviously the tissue paper is important. So here tissue paper, can we say the printer is going to purchase the tissue paper? That constitutes a big element. So this will be considered as sale of tissue paper. That will be considered as sale of goods. Are you able to understand this, everyone? Yes, that is given here. So you have to check what is important where. Okay, what is the predominant supply? Printing is the predominant supply or paper is the predominant supply? Means service is important or goods is important. Accordingly, you can decide and give the answer. Okay, similarly in movie theaters. Okay, in movie theaters, when we go to watch movies. Okay, let's say I'm booking a movie ticket on Book My Show app. There is an app called as Book My Show, right? So I go to Book My Show and I select a particular movie. I select a particular show in which I want to go and watch. So I'm selecting a ticket. Okay, I'm selecting a ticket. Let's say worth is equal to rupees 400. Then the Book My Show gives me an option that do you want to add food also? So I add some food also, let's say 100 rupees of popcorn I add there. Total amount which I am paying to Book My Show at the time of booking the movie ticket is 500 rupees. So can we say even this is the composite supply? Supply of food along with ticket is considered as a composite supply. It is naturally bundled together. So on this 500 rupees, which rate of GST will be applicable? On this 500 rupees, whatever is the rate of GST applicable on tickets, that will be applicable on this entire 500 rupees. Yes, but let's say while booking the movie on Book My Show app, I just booked the tickets. Okay, while selecting the tickets, I just paid for the tickets. I thought if I want to eat anything, I will later go to the theater and there during the intermission, I will purchase something. So on this 400, obviously the movie ticket rate will be applicable. Later when I go to the movie theater, I feel hungry and if I decide to eat some food, okay, and let's say I pay 100 rupees later, then this will be considered as a separate supply. Okay, so 400 was different and this 100 will be considered as a restaurant service. It will be considered as a restaurant service. Are you able to understand this? Yes, that is given here in case of movie tickets. Okay, So when it is supplied separately, then it will be considered as individual supply. But when it was supplied together on the Book My Show app, it will be considered as a composite supply. Yes. Acha. Similarly, in case of GTA, Goods Transport Agency, okay, transportation service provider, a GTA is there, na, a person who is helping me to transport the goods from one place to another, and he issues me a consignment note. Okay, he issues me a consignment note. Have you heard about VRL Logistics? VRL Logistics, or many other companies are there. So they are considered as a GTA. They help us in transportation of goods. Now they are providing me transportation services. Okay, VRL Logistics is providing me transportation services. So they are providing me supply of services. Now along with that, they also provide me extra services like packing, okay, loading of goods, unloading of goods, etc. They provide some other services also along with transportation. So they tell me that, Arpita ma'am, we will collect the goods from your premises and we will transport it to some other place. I said okay. Then they asked me, do you also want us to do some packing of your goods? They asked me, do you also want us to do loading and unloading of your goods from the truck and to the truck, etc. I said yes, otherwise who will do? So they are providing me, along with transportation services, they are providing me some ancillary services also. So again, that will be considered as what? Again, that will be considered as a composite supply. Are you understanding this? Acha, but what if I avail only unloading services from them? Or I avail only packaging services from them? Then that is an individual supply. Yes. Chalo. Then after that, last 2 points. Okay, next point is talking about bus body building. Okay, bus body building is, let's say for example, listen. Now there is a concept called as bus body building. Okay, let's say there is a bus. Okay, just imagine a bus and it does not have like full accessories as of now. Okay, it does not have a upper cover. Okay, or it does not have a wiper on the front, or it does not have the side windows put there, etc. So there is a bus. Okay, you take that bus to a repair person and then you tell him, can you please cover it properly? Can you please put wiper on the bus? Can you please put windows on the bus, etc. So here, what is the type of supply? Okay, this is considered as supply of goods, or this is considered as supply of services. What this will be considered as? So here, can we say the person to whom you took, okay, that repair person to whom you took that bus, if he is like giving you too much quantity of material, like wiper, etc. is giving, cover, etc. is giving, window panes, etc. he is giving, okay, then it will depend. Okay, it will depend, and then he will give you those material, and plus along with that, he will even install in that bus. So he is providing you the material also, and he is also giving you repair services also, or he is also giving you installation services also. So it depends on circumstances to circumstances. Where predominant supply is of material, so it will be considered as supply of goods. But where material quantum is very less, but major work was of doing the labor work, then it will be considered as supply of services. Okay, let's say I go to a repair person. Okay, let's say I go to a repair person and he is doing repair on my vehicle. And in that, the material that he is using, that is very small. But the major thing was of labor. So that will be considered as supply of services. So it depends on case to case. What proportion is more? Okay, what proportion is more? Let's say the material costing itself is 1 lakh rupee and labor was only 5,000. Then obviously you can treat it as a composite supply, but the principal supply will be supply of goods. Okay, similarly, tires, rethreading of tires. Okay, let's say I have got a tire of a car or tire of a two-wheeler, and I go to a repair person and I tell him that, can you please repair this tire? So while repairing the tire, he will use some raw material. Okay, maybe he will use some thread, etc. He will use some material and then he will mainly do the repair, right? So here, what is more important? Repairing is more important. Okay, that thread is a very petty thing there. Repairing is more important. So that will be considered as supply of services. Okay, but let's say I go to that repair person, he tells me your tire is totally gone, no point in repairing it. You buy a second-hand tire from me. So if I am buying a second-hand tire from him, then that will be considered as supply of goods. Okay, that will be considered as supply of goods. Are you understanding this? Yes, so these were certain circulars which were related to your composite supply. I hope you are clear with the concept of composite supply, everyone. Yes. Example. One more example. Okay, let's say along with the laptop, I'm buying the laptop accessories also, which goes with that particular laptop. Again, it will be considered as a composite supply. Okay, I am buying a laptop. Along with that, I'm buying its charger. Again, it will be considered as a composite supply. Okay, a student going to a boarding school. Okay, boarding school, and there he is provided the accommodation facility also. Again, that will be considered as a composite supply. Yes, so two or more taxable supplies which are done together and which are naturally bundled together in ordinary course of business will be considered as a composite supply. And in composite supply, one of the supply will be a principal supply, another one will be an ancillary supply. Okay, so on the total amount, that rate of GST will be applicable which was there on the principal supply. Are you understanding this? Yes. Okay, and then the last concept is of mixed supply. Okay, mixed supply means what? When two or more individual supplies. Okay, when two or more individual supplies of goods or services are done together. Okay, they are done together and which are not naturally bundled together. Not naturally bundled together, but for that a single price has been charged in the invoice. Okay, a single price means bifurcation is not written in the invoice. Okay, bifurcation is not available and single price is charged in the invoice. Then that supply will be considered as what? That supply will be considered as a mixed supply. Okay, example. I go to a shop and I am purchasing some juice bottles from there. Okay, then I purchase some chocolates from there. Then I purchase a perfume from there, and then I purchase let's say some stationery from there. Okay, I am going to a shop and I am purchasing all of these, and in the invoice, that person is charging 5,000 rupees total. So here obviously bifurcation is not written in the invoice, single price is charged in the invoice, so such a supply is considered as what? Such a supply is considered. Now can we say juice bottle, chocolate, perfume, stationery, these are not naturally bundled together, it's not necessary to purchase all of it together, or these are not naturally purchased together, right? So in this case, what will be the rate of GST applicable on the 5,000? That will be an issue. Should we charge the rate of juice bottle, chocolate, perfume, stationery, what? So they are telling consider this as the mixed supply, and if you are considering this as a mixed supply, then whatever is the highest rate of GST amongst all the four items, let's say on juice bottle it is 5%, chocolate is 18%, perfume is 40%, stationery is 5%. Whatever is the highest rate of GST in all of these, let's say 40%. So 40% will be applicable on this 5,000. Are you understanding this? So mixed supply is a pinch. Mixed supply is a pinch. But what if individual amounts is written in the invoice? Then that is an individual supply. Okay, if individual amounts are written, then that will be considered as an individual supply. Okay, mixed supply you will consider only when single price is charged in the invoice and bifurcation is not mentioned there. Understanding this? Manageable? Yes. Okay. What is happening? Okay. Manageable till here, clear till here, everyone. Yes, so composite supply was two or more taxable supplies were done together, and in ordinary course of business, those are naturally bundled together. So you will call it as the composite supply. Whatever is the rate of tax applicable on principal supply, that will be applicable on the entire amount. Okay, mixed supply, two or more supplies are done together which are not naturally bundled together and for which a single price is charged in the invoice with no bifurcation shown, then it will be considered as what? As a mixed supply, and the highest rate of tax will be applicable. Highest rate not as per the law, highest rate amongst those items will be applicable on the total amount. Yes, and if you are not falling under composite supply, if you are not falling under mixed supply, then that will be considered as an individual supply. So individual rates will be applicable. Yes, okay, done. So this was what? This was our section number 8 where we studied about composite supplies and mixed supplies. Yes, now we have got a few special transactions, circulars and clarifications. We'll just complete it so that we can wind up the chapter. Yes. Chalo. So then let's start with the circulars and the clarifications, everyone. The first one talks about taxability of cost petroleum. Okay, it is a very nice concept. Please try to understand here, everyone. Yes, chalo. Cost petroleum and profit petroleum. Okay, now let's say government is there. Okay, government is there. Government is giving you the license. Government is giving you the license to do some oil exploration or exploration of some minerals, etc. That is given to, let's say, to a business entity. There is an entity which is engaged into business, and for that it is getting the license. Okay, for this, can I say the business entity will have to pay something called as license fee? Yes, it will have to pay something called as license fee. Okay, now this license fee, can we say this is a supply of service? Yes, definitely this is a supply of service. See, today we studied about that alcoholic liquor license. Only alcoholic liquor license, grant of alcoholic liquor license is not a supply. But at that time also I told you rest all the types of licenses, their GST gets attracted. So can we say on this license fee, GST is applicable. Okay, now there was another effect of this, where the government told to that business entity that, okay, one thing that you have to pay is the license fee. Apart from the license fee, you have to give me some share of profit petroleum. You have to give me some share of profit petroleum. What do you mean by you have to give me some share of profit petroleum? Means when this business entity will do the exploration, after that, whatever output it gets, it has to share that with the government. Okay, so now the question was about this share of profit petroleum. Will GST apply on this share of profit petroleum or not? Okay, now I'll tell you in detail how does this work. Let's say that business entity does the exploration. Okay, and after exploration, it comes to know that, let's say, it could get 1 lakh liters of oil. Okay, profit of crude oil or whatever. It got 1 lakh liters of oil. So from this exploration, generally the business entity will keep some petroleum aside to meet its cost of exploration. Can we say it would have incurred some cost of exploration to do the exploration, digging, taking out the oil, etc. So let's say for that it has kept, for example, let's say for that it has kept 10,000 liters aside so that it can meet the cost of exploration out of that. Now it is left with 90,000 liters of its output. From that, it will have to give some share of profit petroleum to the government. Share of profit petroleum to the government. Okay, this portion goes to the government. Let's say it was decided that 20,000 liters will go to the government. Okay, so now we are left with how much? Now we are left with 70,000 liters. Can we say this is my final profit? Okay, this I will do further processing and then I will sell it in the market. That is a different thing. Achha. Now here they are telling what will be the GST impact of all these. So 1 lakh liters you could explore. Okay, 10,000 liters you kept aside to meet the cost. So this is called as your cost petroleum. Okay, this is called as your cost petroleum, and this is never liable to GST. Okay, then after that means you will sell 10,000 liters of oil and then you will use that money to meet your cost. Okay, now you're left with 90,000. What is the share of profit petroleum here that you're giving to the government? 20,000. Now this share of profit petroleum is different than the license fee. Huh? License fee was just the permission to start the exploration. On that GST is applicable. Now after that sharing also after that license fee also we have to share our output with the government. Okay, there are certain contracts. There are contracts like this. So here it was clarified by way of circular that this share of profit petroleum is exempted from GST and this will not be liable for GST. Means this will not be considered as a supply. Okay, this will not be considered. This share of profit petroleum that we are sharing with the government, on that GST is not applicable. Did you understand the entire transaction, everyone? Yes, see what are they telling us here? Taxability of cost petroleum. So first of all, they enter into a contract called as production sharing contract with the government. Okay, now the contractor is entitled to recover the contract cost from the total sale proceeds. The value of petroleum which the contractor is entitled to take in a year for recovery is called as cost petroleum. Means whatever output he was keeping aside for meeting the cost, that was called as cost petroleum, and it is not a consideration. Okay, it's not that we have received it from someone, hence no GST can be applicable on that. Okay, then after that, after reducing the cost petroleum from the total sale proceed, he is left with the profit petroleum, and out of which is expected to share some profits with the government. So whatever share of profit petroleum we are paying it to the government. Okay, whatever we are paying it to the government, that is exempted from GST. Okay, but if separate royalties charged by the government or any license fees charged by the government, that is separately taxable. Okay, only what was exempted, only the share of profit petroleum that we are sharing with the government, only that is exempted from GST. Manageable till here? Yes, this was one of the circular here. Another one is very simple here. Achha, fourth one we have already done. Do you recollect when we were doing section number 71A, below section number 71A, we did some circulars? Yes, and in that, do you recollect that exhibition, artwork exhibition that we had done? So let's say if I am sending some artwork, my paintings, drawings, etc. outside India for exhibition, outside India, okay, then will that be considered as an export, or will that be considered as a zero rated supply? So the answer is no, it will not be considered as a zero rated supply. Why? Do you recollect? I had already explained you this, because this is not a supply at all. As of now, I am just sending my paintings. Later, I am going to receive my consideration. So as on today, this is not a supply. So you do not call it as interstate supply, intrastate supply, zero rated supply. No, it is not a supply at all. So it cannot be even considered as a zero rated supply. Okay, that is my fourth one. Now the last 2 points. Now here, financial services. In here we are talking about derivatives. Okay, you must have heard about derivatives, future contracts, forward contracts, etc. Now derivatives, okay, as per different law, as per SCRA law, derivatives are considered as securities only. Okay, now and from the purpose of GST, do you recollect money and securities was excluded from goods also and from services also? So can we say even derivatives will be excluded from goods as well as from services? Right? So whenever we are doing any trading in derivatives, on that there will be no GST applicable. But if there is any brokerage or commission which is charged by the broker, on that GST will be applicable. But on this trading of derivatives, there will be no GST applicable. That will not be liable to GST. This much is manageable. Okay. Achha, another point. Sometimes, I don't know if you have heard about this in your AFM or not. Sometimes if we enter into some contract like future contracts or forward contracts where the settlement is going to take place at a future date. Okay, future contracts, the settlement is going to take place at a future date, and the settlement can take place by two methods. Either the settlement can take place by cash, okay, either by paying or receiving. By that way the settlement can take place, or the settlement can take place by actual delivery of those goods. Okay, example, when we deal in MCX, commodities market, at that time the settlement can be done by way of delivery of those products also. So whenever these future contracts are settled in cash, it is considered as transaction in securities, hence no GST is applicable. But when these future contracts are settled by way of actual delivery of goods, then that is considered as supply of goods and that will be liable to GST. Did you understand this, everyone? Yes, you will study more about this in AFM, like about the future contracts and forward contracts. But let me tell you from the GST angle point of view that whenever the settlement is done in money, then it will be considered as normal transaction in securities. But when the settlement is done, by what way? By way of delivery of goods, actual delivery of goods. Okay, at that time it will be considered as supply of goods, and on that GST will be applicable separately. Manageable till here? Yes. Okay. This was the second point. And the last one. Okay. Last one talks about priority sector lending certificate. I don't know if you have studied about this or not, but there is a concept called as priority sector lending certificate. Okay. Now, priority sector lending certificates, as per the old law, this is not a new concept, as per the old indirect taxes law also, it was considered as goods. Okay, basically it is nothing but a tradable certificate. Okay, a tradable certificate between banks. Okay, it is traded only in the banks. Banks with another banks, they do the trading in this priority sector lending certificate. Okay, example. Now, government has told every bank that you should do priority sector lending. Okay, government has told every bank that you should do priority sector lending. That is, to every priority sector in India, please give loans to them so that they can flourish their business. Okay, now let's say SBI is there. Okay, now SBI has given loans more than the required quota. Let's say government has told that you should give 1 lakh crore. Okay, value 1 lakh crore of loans to for this priority sector, and let's say SBI has exceeded that quota. Then whatever is the excess amount, okay, in form of certificates, okay, whatever is the excess amount in form of certificates, that can be traded by SBI. Okay, that can be traded by SBI. Means what? If there is another bank, let's say HDFC, who could not meet that quota, it can buy that certificate from SBI and it can stay within the compliance. Okay, it can stay within the compliance. Are you understanding this? Yes. Okay. So now this way the priority sector lending certificates is traded between the banks, and this is traded only online. Okay, there is no physical certificate. It is traded on the eKuber portal of RBI. So there is one portal of RBI called as eKuber portal of RBI. On that it is traded. Okay, now these certificates are considered as goods. First of all, that is clarified under the GST law. Okay, secondly, because it is considered as goods, so as if you are normally selling the goods, as if SBI is selling the goods to HDFC, it will pay the GST on that, it will collect the GST paid to the government that way, and HDFC, whoever is the recipient, will get the ITC of the same. Okay, normal, just like your normal supply of goods, etc. is happening. Okay, and then we will study this in the next chapter, that in case of PSLC trading, it comes under the RCM mechanism. Okay, I know it is too early to tell you here, but I'm just telling you so that when we do it, it will again strike you that yes, we have studied it. Okay, that is always the recipient will pay the tax on this. So SBI, if it is selling to HDFC, even if both of them are registered, doesn't matter. Even if both of them are in India, doesn't matter. The tax has to be paid by HDFC under reverse charge mechanism. Do you recollect we studied about importation of services? There also RCM was applicable. Same way here also reverse charge mechanism is applicable. This we will study in the next chapter, that is charge of GST. Simple, manageable? Yes. Okay, so this is what I wanted to tell you. So priority sector lending certificates, these are taxable as goods. Okay, GST payable would be available as ITC to the bank who is buying the certificate. Okay, and yes, this is because this is traded only online on the eKuber portal of RBI. This is always considered as interstate transaction. Okay, irrespective of the fact where the banks are located, we don't have to check. In which state it is located, we don't have to check. Whether within the same state or within different states, doesn't matter. It is always considered as interstate transaction. And if it is interstate transaction, I know that you remember that IGST will be applicable in such case. Manageable till here? Done everyone? Yes, so these were my 4 circulars, 4 clarifications which we have already discussed. Yes, and with this, my chapter supply under GST is totally done. Simple? Yes, okay. Okay. So now what are we supposed to do? First, we have to revise the concepts once. Okay, and then only we can try the question answers. So as I had already told you in the introduction lecture, please read the theory once. Okay, I'll give you some time. We'll stop this lecture here. I'll give you some time. Please revise the theory and then we'll start with the question answer discussion. Okay, so let's start with the question answers of this, that is supply under GST. Initially, you have got the direct questions. As already discussed, these direct questions, you can just do it. Yes, you can just do it on your own. These are like one-liner question. Just read it once, try to give the answers. Yes, and we will then jump to the analytical questions. Okay, let's discuss a few questions out of analytical questions. Yes, at least let's do the must do questions. Yes, that is very, very important from your exam point of view. And yes, one more thing, the solution to this direct questions, I have not included it in the book. Okay, but I have put a separate PDF of the solution to direct questions. Okay, the QR code which I had told you yesterday, which is there in your concept book. Okay, I'll just show it to you. Come to your concept book, concept handbook. Okay, and on the second page of your, like in the initial pages, okay, where these QR codes etc are given, at the bottom there is one QR code given. Okay, so like your whatever additional information or additional material you need for this 5th edition book, you can just scan this QR code, and this will include everything. Like the lectures index is also included there, class notes will also be included there, IBS index will also be included there, solution to direct questions will also be included. Just one link where everything related to your batch, your books will be available there. Okay. This QR code will take to your Google Drive link, or alternatively you can go to our website free resources section, and there also you will find all these things available. Okay, chalo, now let's start with the analytical questions, everyone. I'm starting with the first one. So your first thing that they are asking, one second. So first thing that they are asking here is, explain whether the following activities would amount to supply under section 7 of the CGST Act, or will it be considered as non-supplies. So basically we need to identify that whether it is a supply or it is not a supply. Okay, and accordingly the like respective section numbers etc we are going to quote, and we will try to give the answer. Yes, can we start, everyone? Can we start? Yes, okay, chalo, let's start with it, everyone. First one, Damodar Charitable Trust, a trust who gets the eye treatment of needy people done free of cost, donates clothes and toys to children living in slum area. So there is a charitable trust who is donating clothes and toys to children living in slum area. Can we say here, this does not amount to supply? Yes, why it does not amount to supply? First of all, there is no consideration involved, and secondly, it is not in the course or furtherance of business. Yes, so this will not be considered as a supply as per section number 7. Yes, so we will write there. First, we'll write the requirement of section number 7(1)(a), which says that there should be some supply happening, plus there should be a consideration, and plus it should be done in the course or furtherance of business. But here the consideration is also missing, and in the course or furtherance of business, both of these tests are missing. So this transaction cannot be considered as a supply as per section number 7. Okay, ma'am, how do we present the answer? So first paragraph has to be your provision. Okay, the one that we discussed as per section number 7(1)(a) of the CGST Act. First paragraph has to be your provision. Second paragraph has to be in the above case. Okay, in the above case, there is no consideration involved and it is not done in the course or furtherance of business. Right, and then therefore the above transaction cannot be considered as a supply. This has to be the format of your answer. Okay, next one. Sulekha manufacturers have a factory in Delhi and a depot in Mumbai. Okay, both of these establishments are registered in respective states. Finished goods are sent from factory in Delhi to Mumbai depot without consideration so that the same can be sold. So from factory to depot we are sending, from Delhi to Mumbai we are sending the goods without consideration. Can we say two different states are there? Therefore two different GST registrations are there. So in this case it will be considered as distinct persons. Right, this will be considered as distinct persons. So this will be considered a supply of goods between related persons or distinct persons or establishment of distinct persons in the course or furtherance of business for zero consideration. Means can we say here we are hinting towards para number 2 of schedule number 1. Para number 2 of schedule number 1. Yes, so first paragraph will write our main provision. That is as per section number 7(1)(c) read with para number 2 of schedule number 1. If there is any supply of goods or services between related persons or distinct persons or establishment of distinct persons in the course or furtherance of business without consideration will be considered as a deemed supply. So can we say even this will be considered? Yes, even this will be considered. Okay, even this will be considered. See, better than establishment of distinct persons, can we say it will be considered as a distinct persons because both of them are registered under the same PAN we are assuming. So here this transfer, this supply will be considered as what? This will be considered as a deemed supply. Yes. Then the next one, Raman is an electronic commerce operator in Chennai. Okay, we will study later in the next chapter about e-commerce operator, electronic commerce operator. Electronic commerce operator is a person who is operating a platform, electronic platform, digital platform like Amazon, Flipkart, Ola, Uber, Zomato, Swiggy, etc. Okay, his brother who is settled in London is a well-known lawyer. Raman has taken legal advice from him free of cost with regard to his family dispute. Okay, so can we say we have taken a legal advice? We have taken a legal advice. So can we say from our brother who is in London? So can we say for us it is importation of services? For us it is importation of services. Okay, now listen. Will it fall, importation of services, will it fall under 7.1b? So answer is no, it will not fall under 7.1b because it is free of cost. So then we will have to check that whether it falls under para number 4 to schedule number 1. Importation of services from our related persons or from our establishment outside India in the course or furtherance of business. Now, can we say this is for family dispute? Because this is for family dispute. So, can we say this does not fall under para number 4. So, this will not be considered as a supply. And also, can we say here brother is well settled in London means brother is not dependent on me. So brother will not be considered as my family member and hence he will not be even considered as my related person. Are you able to understand this? Yes. So we are not falling under para number 4. 7.1a, 7.1b, 7.1a, 7.1b is anyway not applicable. Why? Because there is no consideration involved. Then, would your answer be different if in the above case, Raman has taken advice in respect of his business unit in Chennai? Can I say my answer will still remain the same? Why? Even if it is for business, but here my brother is not my related person. Yes, we have taken the service from an unrelated person. So, for zero consideration, so it cannot be considered as a supply. Right? Then next one, Prithvi Enterprises appoints Champak to procure certain goods from the market. Champak identifies various suppliers who can provide the goods as desired by Prithvi Enterprises and asks a supplier, Satya Manufacturers, to send the goods and issue the invoice directly to Prithvi Enterprises. Okay, so basically, who is the agent? Can we say Champak is the agent here? Champak identifies the suppliers. Principal is Prithvi Enterprises and then we get a supplier called as Satya Manufacturers. So basically, Satya Manufacturers is the main supplier. Okay, he is supplying the goods to Prithvi Enterprises through an agent called as Champak. And invoice is directly done to Prithvi. So basically, supplier is directly invoiced it to Prithvi Enterprises. So can we say here, this agent is not an agent as per para number 3. He will be considered as an agent as per para number 3 only when the invoice was issued in the name of Champak. Yes, so here he cannot be considered as an agent as per para number 3 of schedule number 1. Okay, so we'll have to write the answer accordingly. First paragraph, again the main provision, that is as per section number 7.1c read with para number 3 of schedule number 1. Whenever there is a supply of goods happening by a supplier to the principal through an agent, then in such cases the transaction between principal and agent will be considered as a deemed supply only when the invoice is issued in the name of agent. But in the given case, the invoice is issued by the supplier directly in the name of principal and invoicing is not done in the name of agent. Hence this person cannot be considered as an agent as per para number 3. Are you able to understand? Yes, this is the beginning. So I am trying to discuss the answers, like even the format of it. Okay, once we proceed ahead to next chapters, then the homework will also start and then you will also have to start framing the answers on your own. Okay, Sudama Associates, a registered supplier, disposes the computers owned by the business without consideration and it has not claimed the ITC on such computers. Okay, so now we are disposing the business assets, permanent disposal. Can we say para number 1 is to be applied? Para number 1 to schedule number 1. Yes. Now here we have disposed the business asset without consideration and it had not claimed the ITC. So can we say in para number 1 it was permanent transfer or disposal of business assets to any person without consideration, provided ITC was claimed on it, then only it will be considered as a deemed supply. But in the given case, because ITC was not claimed on that business asset, so whenever we are disposing it off for zero consideration, it will not be considered. It will not be considered as the deemed supply. Yes. Okay. Then after that, the next one, check the next one. Ajat Satru Industries enters into a contract with an actor Chandragupt. Okay, it enters into a contract with Chandragupt and it to act as a brand ambassador of products manufactured by Ajat Satru Industries. The duration of the contract is 5 years and the contract fee payable to Chandragupt for being a brand ambassador is rupees 50 lakh per annum. As per the terms of contract, in case the contract is terminated by Chandragupt before the end of the contract period, Chandragupt will have to pay 50% of the contract fee received by him till the time of termination of the contract. At the end of third year, Chandragupt terminates the contract with Ajat Satru. He received the contract fee for 3 years at the time of termination. You are required to determine whether the given transaction qualify as supplies. So here we have already studied. Can we say there is an underlying contract which is going on here? And now because of its termination, can we say we are tolerating an act of termination for which we are getting a consideration? So whatever is the amount of consideration that we are going to get, how much is 50% is to be paid now? He received it for how many years? He received it for 3 years. Na? So 50 lakh is per annum. 50 lakh multiplied by 3 years and multiplied by 50%. So can we say 75 lakh? 75 lakh is the consideration which we are going to receive for tolerating an act for this particular contract. So here, yes, it will be considered as a supply. Then after that, the next one, Rudraksh Kapoor, owner of Rudraksh Publishing House, Ghaziabad, UP, donated some money to Divya Prakash Charitable Trust in the memory of his late father. The Divya Prakash Charitable Trust constructed a room in the school run by it from such donation and wrote, donated by Rudraksh Kapoor in memory of his father. On the door of the room so constructed, examine whether the money donated by Rudraksh Kapoor is it liable to GST. So we have already studied a circular in that whenever donations are received by charitable institution and when the donors, when there is a philanthropic, okay, when the purpose is philanthropic and the payment is done in the form of gift or donation, okay, then in that case it will not attract GST. Okay, it will not attract GST because here there is nothing in return. Means once I have donated the amount, I am not going to do anything in return. Or whenever the charitable trust has received the donation, charitable trust is not doing anything in return. So this will not be liable to GST. Okay, but in the above question, if Divya Prakash Charitable Trust has written on the door of the room constructed, donated by Rudraksh Publishing House, Ghaziabad, UP, would the given transaction qualify as supply? So yes, definitely, if it is written that it is donated by Rudraksh Publishing House and all that, then in that case, it is aimed at promoting the business. Okay, basically we are trying, here the purpose is not philanthropic. So here the purpose is promoting the business of the donor. So in that case, it will be considered as if it is a supply of service, right? As if it is a supply of service by the charitable trust. Okay, what is the service that is provided by the Divya Prakash Charitable Trust? It has provided services to Rudraksh Kapoor of advertisement, okay, of advertisement for which Rudraksh Kapoor has given some amount of donation. Did you understand this? Yes, we had done the circular on this. Okay, next question, everyone. Let's try the next question. Vesco Limited, a registered person in Ahmedabad, Gujarat, having head office located in Singapore, received management consultancy services free of cost from its head office. So can we say this is again importation of services? Okay, importation of services free of cost means, can we say we will not look into 7.1b, we will directly jump to para number 4. What was para number 4? Importation of services from a related person or from my establishment outside India in the course or furtherance of business for zero consideration will be considered as a deemed supply. So can we say it is, I have received it from my head office located in Singapore, which is nothing but my other establishment outside India. So this will be considered as deemed supply as per para number 4. Are you able to understand all these things? Yes. Okay, then after that, going to the next one, everyone, let's try the next one. And obviously, we are assuming that it is in the course or furtherance of business. Okay, then let's try the next one. Mr. Rajesh Surana has a proprietorship firm in the name of Surana and Sons in Jaipur. The firm registered under GST in Rajasthan manufactures taxable products. The firm also provides taxable consultancy services. So it manufactures taxable products and it provides services also. Mr. Rajesh Surana has provided the consultancy services to his brother Mr. Akhilesh Surana, who is located in USA. So now we are not importing the service, but we are providing the service. Okay, Rajesh Surana is providing the service to Akhilesh Surana, who is in USA, without any consideration. So he is not going to pay anything in return. Okay, the products manufactured by Akhilesh are similar to the ones manufactured by Rajesh Surana. So he is also engaged into business. So he is not dependent on me. So he is not my family member. He is not my related person. Okay. Mr. Surana charges rupees 3 lakh for providing similar consultancy services to other independent customers located in USA. So they have given the market price basically. Compute the GST liability, if any, in the given case, assuming the rate is 18%. So in this case, everyone, in this case, what will be your stand? What will be your stand? So first of all, can we say we have provided these services for zero consideration? If it is provided for zero consideration, then we will directly go to schedule 1 and we will see that where are we fitting. So we are not fitting in para 1, okay, permanent transfer. We are not fitting in para number 3. We are not fitting in para number 3, that is principal agent. We are not fitting in para number 4, that is importation of services, because here we are exporting the services. So now let's check para number 2. What was para number 2? Para number 2 was supply of goods or services. It can be import also, it can be export also. Supply of goods or services between related person, between distinct person, or between establishment of distinct persons. But here, can we say this person is not my related person? So para number 2 is also not applicable. Para number 2 was applicable only for RP, DP and EDP. Right? So here para number 2 is also not applicable. So basically we do not fall under schedule 1 also. And we cannot apply our by default section, that is 7(1)(a) also, because for 7(1)(a) we need consideration. So can we say this transaction is not considered as a supply? Okay. Don't get carried away by the rates of GST that is given here. Alright. Chalo. Then after that, let's go ahead everyone. Let's try the next one. Angad Private Limited is engaged in the business of distribution of construction material. As an incentive, Angad Private Limited pays an amount of 75,000 to its employees upon achieving a sales target. Incentive is a part of salary of the employees and applicable tax is deducted. TDS is deducted under income tax provisions. Angad Private Limited is of the view that GST is not leviable on such incentive. Answer is correct, because we have already studied this in schedule number 3, that any services which is provided by an employee to the employer in the course or in relation to employment is considered as non-supply, except for that gift exceeding rupees 50,000. Okay, now this is not a gift, this is an incentive which will come under allowances or perquisites, which is forming part of salary only. Okay, so now this is forming part of salary only. So this will not be considered as a supply. This is a non-supply as per schedule number 3. Right? See, I am discussing each and every question here. Wherever it is important, I will go in detail. Wherever I feel that you can do it on your own, I will leave it up to you. Okay. Now, Moksha Bhumi Industries has its manufacturing unit in the state of Maharashtra. It stores the finished goods manufactured by it at a depot located in Gujarat. The depot is owned by Punya Bhumi Limited, a related person of Moksha Bhumi Enterprises. Punya Bhumi has not charged any consideration from Moksha Bhumi for usage of depot for storage purpose. Whether the storage of goods permitted by Punya Bhumi to Moksha Bhumi Industries qualify as supply under GST. So basically Moksha Bhumi is doing the manufacturing, and after doing the manufacturing, it is storing the finished goods in Gujarat. Okay, so manufacturing is happening in Maharashtra. We are going and storing the goods in Gujarat. In our related persons, premises we are storing it, and for that my related person is not charging, they are not charging any consideration. So can we say this is a supply between related person? Okay, so and this is no consideration, so we'll check schedule number 1. Para 1 not applicable, para 3 not applicable, para 4 not applicable. So we'll go and check para number 2. Yes, para number 2 says that if there is any supply of goods or services between related persons, distinct person, establishment of distinct person without consideration in the course or furtherance of business, then it will be considered as a deemed supply. So can we say yes, here the transaction is between related person? Yes, and it is done for zero consideration and it is done in the course or furtherance of business. So yes, this transaction will be considered as a deemed supply as per para number 2 of schedule number 1. Yes. So next, Sarvana and Sons wishes to start supplying liquor in the state of Tamil Nadu. Therefore, it applies for license for selling liquor to Tamil Nadu government. For it has charged specified fee from it. Examine whether the grant of liquor license by Tamil Nadu government will it qualify as a supply. So this we have specifically studied in section number 7(2)(b). After that, non-supplies we had studied that grant of alcoholic liquor license for which license fee is charged by the state government is considered as non-supply as per section number 7(1)(2). So it will not be qualifying as supply, right? Then after that, the next one, Sahab Sales, an AC dealer in Janakpuri, Delhi, needs 4 AC for his newly constructed house in Safdarganj enclave. AC dealer needs 4 AC for his house. Okay, therefore he transfers 4 AC on which ITC has been availed by it from its stock for the said purpose. Examine whether the said activity amounts to supply under section number 7. Further, a Janakpuri resident Akash approached Sahab Sales. He sold an air conditioner to Sahab Sales. Akash is selling to Sahab Sales. Okay, for rupees 5,000. Akash had bought the said air conditioner 6 months back for his residence. So basically he is selling a second hand AC. Does the sale of air conditioner by Akash to Sahab Sales amount to supply under section number 7 of the CGST Act 2017? So 2 type of questions that they are asking. So first one is yes, definitely. Can we say Sahab Sales is taking some ACs from his office to his home? So this is the permanent transfer or disposal of business assets without any consideration on which ITC has been claimed. So that will be considered as a deemed supply as per para number 1. Okay, that will be considered as a deemed supply as per para number 1, schedule number 1 of CGST Act. Okay, second part is someone, Akash is selling a used AC to Sahab Sales for rupees 5,000. Can we say this will not attract GST? Because this is not done in the course or furtherance of business. Akash is not into the business of selling the AC. Akash is just used an AC for his residence and now he's going and selling it in the market. So this will not attract GST because this is not done in the course or furtherance of business. Remember, I had given you the example of I am going and selling my gold ornaments to Tanishq. That was not attracting GST because I am not doing in the course or furtherance of business. Same example is there here. Then after that, the next one, Satyam has lent securities to Kala Enterprises, lent the securities to Kala Enterprises for a consideration of 10,000 towards lending of securities under securities lending scheme through an approved intermediary. Ignore the transaction between Satyam and the intermediary. So basically, Satyam has lent some securities to Kala Enterprises through an intermediary in between. This is lending of securities. This is not buying or selling of securities. So yes, this will be considered as a supply. Okay, lending of securities is a supply. Sale of securities is not a supply. Then after that, the next one, Patta Limited made supply of goods to its agent Romi without consideration. Romi issued invoice for further supply of goods to customer in his own name. So Patta Limited is the principal. It has done supply of goods to its agent and agent has further supplied the goods to the customers in his own name. Okay, invoicing is done in his own name. So can we say the transaction between principal and agent will be considered as a deemed supply? Yes, this will be considered as a deemed supply as per para number 3 of schedule number 1. Okay, and he has also disclosed the name of the principal in the invoice issued. Doesn't matter. If invoicing is done in his own name means he has done a further supply. Right, so the transaction between principal to agent will be considered as a deemed supply. Then after that, Dilasa Limited recruited Miss Chaya as senior relationship manager. At the time of joining as senior relationship manager, the company paid 3 lakh rupees towards not joining Milan Limited, a stiff competitor of Dilasa Limited. So can we say here Can we say here, this is a amount paid for not joining another company? This is an amount paid for not joining another company. Yes. Is this service provided in the course of employment? No, this is not provided in the course of employment. This is just like forbearance. Okay, for not doing something, I am going to get money. Okay, for not joining Milan Limited, I am getting rupees 3 lakh. So this is not in the course of employment. Okay, so this 3 lakh will be considered as a separate supply. Okay, supply of services, forbearance, or agreeing to do an act, obligation, that point. Then after that, S point. Let's do the S point, everyone. ABC Insurance Limited, a registered insurer in Maharashtra, enters into a co-insurance agreement with XYZ Insurance Limited, where ABC is the lead insurer. The insured, Gyati Industries, pays a total premium of 50 lakh, which is apportioned in the ratio of 60-40 for the joint services provided, okay, between main insurer and XYZ Insurance. ABC Insurance Limited, that is the main company, agrees to discharge the entire GST liability on full amount, means it is paying full GST on the entire 50 lakh rupees. So when we have already studied this in non-supplies, that whenever further apportionment of GST, further apportionment of premium is going to happen, that will not be considered as a supply, because GST has been paid on the total amount by the lead insurer, right? Then after that, the next one. A large industrial plant needs an insurance worth rupees 500 crore. It approaches ABC Insurance Limited for the same. However, since ABC Insurance Limited is unable to underwrite the entire risk alone, it enters into a reinsurance agreement with a new company called as PQR Insurance Limited. The total premium charged is 50 lakh rupees. The insurer ABC pays a reinsurance premium of 20 lakh to PQR. So main total amount collected is 50 lakhs. Out of that, we are giving 20 lakh to the reinsurance company. This allows to manage the risk. While paying this amount, PQR Insurance, ABC deducts a ceding commission of 1 lakh, because it is giving a business. So while paying 20 lakhs, it is deducting 1 lakh from that, and it is going to pay a premium only of 19 lakh. Now, PQR Insurance, that is the reinsurance company, pays the GST on the gross insurance premium, that is 20 lakh, including the ceding commission. Now, because it has paid GST on entire 20 lakh, this transaction, the ceding commission transaction, will not be considered as a separate supply, and no GST will be applicable on that. Do you recollect? Same things we have already studied. Yes. Okay. Then Krishnadev is a trader based in India. Okay, Ramakrishna, brother of Krishnadev, is located in China and is also engaged in business of trading of goods. Krishnadev places an order with Ramakrishna for procurement of certain goods from local market in China. Before the shipment of goods from China to India, Krishnadev sold such goods to Cristiano, a trader located in Brazil. The goods were subsequently shipped from China to Brazil. Okay, we are in India, goods are shipped from China to Brazil. Can we say this is out and out supply? If it is out and out supply, then that is not a supply as per schedule number 3. Then after that, next one. Mohandas International entered into a transaction for import of goods from a vendor located in Italy. Due to financial issues, Mohandas International was not in a situation to clear the goods upon payment of import duty. Hence, Mohandas International sold the goods to Radhakrishnan Export by endorsement of title while the goods were in high seas. When the goods were in waters, we have sold it to someone else. Can we say again this is not considered? Like we selling the goods to Radhakrishna will not be considered as a supply. Okay, the agreement further provides that Mohandas International shall purchase back the goods in future. That is okay. We will see what will happen in the near future. But as of now, when we are selling it during high seas, that will not be considered as a supply. Then after that, the next one, Blue Bank Limited had lent a term loan to Sky Powers for setting up a solar plant on agreed repayment schedule. So basically, a term loan has been given by bank to a company. Due to crunch in working capital, Sky Powers missed a few installments and the bank charged penal charges for breach of repayment contract. Whether these penal charges collected by the bank are liable for GST. This was a May 26 exam. May 26 exam question. So penal charges which is collected, we have specifically studied as per the circular. As per the circular, penal charges are merely considered as flow of money and there is no underlying contract for this supply of goods or services in relation to this, and hence these penal charge, hence GST is not applicable on these penal charges. Are you able to understand this, everyone? Manageable till here? Yes. Okay. Chalo, let's go to the next one, everyone. Let's try the next one. I hope question number 1 was good. Yes, it was a combined question. Okay, it was a combined question on whether a transaction is considered as a supply or not considered as a supply. Yes. Okay, chalo. Going on to the next question. Next one is also a must-do question, everyone. Let's try this. Determine whether the following supplies amount to composite supplies or mixed supplies or individual supplies. A hotel provides 4-day, 3-night packages wherein the facility of breakfast and dinner is provided along with the room accommodation, room plus food. So that is a composite supply. Yes, so we'll have to write the meaning, right? We'll have to write the meaning of composite supply, and then we'll give the conclusion that these are normally provided in ordinary course of business. These are naturally bundled together in ordinary course of business. Then a toothpaste company has offered the scheme of free toothbrush or soap along with the toothpaste. Toothbrush or soap along with the toothpaste. So these are not naturally bundled together in ordinary course of business, and hence this will be considered as mixed supply if a single amount is charged for that. Then Agrawal Carriers is the GTA engaged in transportation of goods by road. As per the general business practice, it also provides intermediary and ancillary services like loading, unloading, packing, unpacking, transshipment and temporary warehousing in relation to transportation of goods by road. So main service is transportation, and along with that they themselves are telling that it is providing some ancillary services. So yes, it will be considered as a composite supply. We have already done the circular on this. Then Dum Electronics has sold the following electronic items to Akbar retail store. Okay, to Akbar retail store. Refrigerator, stabilizer, LED TV, split AC, stabilizer, etc. This was stabilizer for refrigerator. This is stabilizer for AC. Dum Electronics has issued a single invoice indicating the price of each of the above items separately. Means bifurcation is shown. So Akbar retail store has given a single check of 1 lakh for all the items as composite discounted price. State the type of supply and the tax rate applicable. Now, first of all, this is not a composite supply because all these are not purchased ordinarily together. Okay, it is not even a mixed supply. Why it is not a mixed supply? Because bifurcation is shown in the invoice, and for mixed supply, bifurcation should not have been shown in the invoice. So this is not even a mixed supply. If it is not composite, if it is not mixed, then this will be considered as an individual supply, right? Okay, then if a trader launches a package sales for marriage containing double bed, refrigerator, washing machine, wooden wardrobe at a single rate, he is issuing invoice showing value of each good separately, whether this is a mixed supply or composite supply. So as already discussed, this will be considered as individual supply. Similar, na, because he is giving, see, first of all, this is not a composite supply. These are not purchased together normally. Okay, it is not a mixed supply because he has shown the invoice, he has made the invoice giving value of each good separately. So it is not even a mixed supply. And lastly, it will be considered as individual supply. Are you able to understand? This was same as the above one, right? Okay, this was same as D, right? Chalo, then after that, going to the next one. Let's try the next one, everyone. Let's go to question number 3. Even that is a must do question. Let's give it a try. Ascertain whether supply constitutes supply of goods or supply of services. So now we have to bifurcate whether it is goods or whether it is services. Let's try. A professional training institute gets its training material printed from a printing press. The content of the material is provided by the training institute who owns the usage right of the same, while the physical inputs including paper etc. belongs to the printer. Same example, printer is using his paper and the ink etc. Content is given by me. So ascertain whether this supply of training material by the printing press will be considered as supply of goods or supply of services. So we have discussed that this will be considered as supply of printing services by them, and hence it will be considered as supply of services. We have already discussed this in the circular. Okay, so you can give the reference as per the GST circular. Then Nandishwar manufactures certain category of yarn for it sends certain category of yarn for processing to job worker. The job worker undertakes the processing work on the yarn as per the requirement. During the process, the job worker uses his own material also. The processed yarn is sold by Nandishwar manufacturers directly from the job worker's premises. Balance quantity is sent back to the Nandishwar manufacturers. The job worker is of the opinion that because he is using his own material also in processing, and hence the supply to Nandishwar manufacturers is in the nature of supply of goods as well as services. Do you agree with the opinion of job worker? So now the work which is done by the job worker is purely in the nature of supply of services, because his work is to do the processing. While doing the processing, he can use some amount of labor, that is okay. Some amount of goods, that is okay, but the principal supply will be considered as supply of services. Okay, always remember, job work is always considered as supply of services. Yes, okay. Then after that, Gagan Engineering Private Limited, registered in Haryana, is engaged in providing maintenance and repair services for heavy steel machinery. For carrying out the repair work, Gagan Engineering Private Limited sends its container truck equipped with items like repair equipments, consumable tools from Haryana workshop to its repairing centers located in other states across India, where the client's machinery are being brought and are being repaired. Discuss the leviability of GST on interstate movement of trucks from workshop to own repairing center. So whenever there is a movement of truck that is happening, this is not considered as a supply. This is not considered as a supply of vehicle. Okay, it is not. We have studied this. Remember that A, B, C point. After that, non-supplies we had studied that if there is any truck which is simply moving from one place to another for providing the services, it will not be considered as supply of truck. Done? Chalo, done. Then after that, again, let's go to the next one. Here. Yes, again this is a must do question, everyone. Let's do it. Let's start. Examine whether the activity of import of service in the following independent cases will it apply amount to supply. So it is basically about importation of services. Okay, don't get confused. Let's give it a try. Miss Sriniti Kaushik received interior decoration services for a residence located in Bandra, Mumbai from Mr. Rachel of Sydney, Australia, and the amount paid for the said service is 5,000 Australian dollars. So there is a consideration involved. So we will, and it is importation of services. So we will apply section 7(1)(b). Yes, what does 7(1)(b) say? 7(1)(b) say importation of services from any person outside India for some consideration, whether or not in the course or furtherance of business, means whether it is for residence or office, doesn't matter. So yes, this will be considered as a supply as per section number 7(1)(b). Yes. Then Miss Sriniti Kaushik received interior decoration services for a residence located at Bandra, Mumbai from her brother Mr. Varun residing in Sydney. So Varun, brother, is providing interior decoration services to Sriniti Kaushik, who is in Mumbai, for her residence, and he is wholly dependent. Oh my God, brother is wholly dependent. So can we say he is my related person? And further, Ms. Srinidhi did not pay any consideration. So this is zero consideration. Zero consideration means we will apply schedule number 1. And because he is giving the services from Sydney, so it is importation of services. So can we say para number 4 is applicable? Importation of services in the course or furtherance of business. Importation in the course of furtherance of business for zero consideration from my related person. From my related person. From my related person or from my establishment outside India will be considered as a deemed supply, provided we have imported it. Provided we have imported it in the course or furtherance of business. So now, can we say here she has imported it? Can we say here she has imported it for her residence and not for her business. So here this will not be considered as a supply as per schedule number 1, para number 4. See, here importation is happening now. So we have to think from the recipient point of view, because here RCM is applicable, right? Okay, then after that, will your answer change if in the above case, if Ms. Srinati has taken interior decoration services with respect to her business premises and not her residence? Yes, my answer will change. Now this will be considered as a supply as per para number 4, because importation of services happening from my related person in the course or furtherance of business for zero consideration. So now it will be considered as a deemed supply. Then after that, Mrs. Pragati received legal advice for her personal problems and paid £1,000 as legal fees to Miss Unnati of UK. We have paid consideration. Okay, it is importation, but we have paid consideration. So we will apply 7.1b, but this is for personal problem, doesn't matter, because in 7.1b they are telling it can be for business or for other than business also. So yes, definitely this will be considered as a supply. If in above case both of them are real sisters and no consideration is paid, then will it change your answer? Now, both of them are real sisters. Just being real sisters is not sufficient. We have to check whether they are related persons or not. Now, we are assuming that she is a lawyer in London. So she is not dependent on me. So can we say she is not my related person then? If she is not my related person, then we cannot fall under. We cannot fall under para number 4 of schedule number 1. Yes, because for para number 4, it has to be done between related person. So it cannot be considered as a supply. And further in the above case, if both of them are real sisters and Mrs. Pragati received legal advice for her business and she does not pay any consideration, then what will be your answer? And yes, in the above case, it was even for her personal problem. Now here, in this case, even if she is receiving for her business, but they are real sisters and we are assuming that she is not dependent on me. If she is not dependent on me, okay, if she is not dependent on me, then in that case, she is not my related person. So again, this cannot be considered as a supply. Okay, so you have to assume, here whether she is dependent or not. Accordingly, you have to give the answer. If I assume that my sister is dependent on me, if I assume that she is dependent on me, then that becomes my related party, then that will be considered as a supply. So we'll have to write some assumption for that. Okay, then the next one. Mr. Swami of Chennai is working as a manager with ABC Bank. Okay, so here we can just write it. I'll just write it here also. Assume related party. Okay, assume that it is a related party. This one, assume that it is a related party. Accordingly, answer. Okay, and last one. Mr. Swami of Chennai is working as a manager with ABC Bank. He consulted Messrs. Jacob and Company of London and took its advice for buying a residential house in Mumbai and paid them consultancy fee for this import of service. So this first line is irrelevant. He consulted Jacobs of London and took a advice and paid consultancy. So can we say this is importation of service 7.1b? Importation of services done for a consideration, whether or not in the course or furtherance of business, will be considered as a supply. So this will amount to simple. Chalo. Then after that, question number 5, I am giving it to you as homework. Please try question number 5 on your own. This is manageable question. Okay, question number 5 basically talks about agreeing to an obligation. That is, I am agreeing to someone's obligation and I will do that obligation, I will fulfill that obligation and I will get paid for that. So yes, definitely it will be considered as supply of service and GST will be applicable on that. So please try question number 5 that I am giving you as homework. Okay, question number 6. Question number 6 talks about composite supply. Okay, let's try this question, everyone. I'll see if we have a similar must do question, then we can do that. 1 second. Okay, so question number 6 I'm giving you as homework, but similar question we have coming ahead, which is a little lengthy question and has more interpretation. So question number 8. Okay, question number 8 we will do here in the class. Question number 6 also I am giving you as homework. This is actually talking about composite supply and mixed supply. So wherever there is a composite supply coming, okay, see, I am discussing the question also with you so that, you know, it should not be like you feel left over. Okay, so, or left out, not left over, left out, right? So it is about composite supply, and in case of composite supply, what is the rate of GST applicable? Whatever is the rate applicable on principal supply, that will be the rate applicable on the total value, right? Chalo, then let's go to question number 7. Question number 7 we should do. Okay, question number 7 we should do. Now, Mr. Happy has a huge residential property located at a prime location in Mumbai. He is the owner of a property. He has let out, okay, and that is a residential property. He has let out the first and second floor to Mr. Peace for residential purpose in April. Residential property given on rent for residential purpose. Okay, that will be considered as what? That will be considered as exempt supply. Okay, we will study that ahead. It is exempt actually, means whatever rent we are going to get, that is going to be exempt. Now, Mr. Peace, that is the tenant, surrenders his tenancy rights to Mr. Serene for a tenancy premium of 10 lakh rupee. So basically, Peace is going to leave the property, is an outgoing tenant, and he is going to surrender his rights to Mr. Serene, who is the new tenant, okay, for rupees 10 lakh on 1st June. Mr. Serene has also paid the applicable stamp duty and registration charges on transfer of tenancy rights. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter. Moreover, Serene has agreed to pay a monthly rent of 1 lakh rupee to Mr. Happy from June. Determine the taxability of the transaction. So can we say here, first of all, new tenant is going to pay 10 lakh rupees to the old tenant. Okay, that is taxable. Tenancy premium is taxable. Okay, even if tenancy premium will be taxable here, it is considered as supply of services. At least it will be considered as supply of services. Yes. Acha, now can we say new tenant is going to pay to the old tenant? Now this is not in the nature of rent, because when will it be considered as in the nature of rent? When it is paid to the owner of the property, but here it is exchange between the tenants, so this will be fully taxable. Okay, this will be fully taxable under GST. Another thing, Serene, new tenant, is also going to pay a rent of 1 lakh rupee to Mr. Happy, that is the owner. Can we say this rent will be exempted? This is a supply of service, but can we say this will be exempted from GST? Why? Residential property given on rent for residential purpose. This is exempt from GST. This we will study later. But anyway, that will be still considered as supply of services. Okay. Acha, what if new tenant is also paying some tenancy premium to the owner? What if new tenant is also paying some tenancy premium to the owner? Then that will be exempted. Why? Because that will be considered as rent only. Means whatever was the treatment applicable for the rent, that will be applicable for tenancy premium. Then ma'am, why was it not exempted here? Because here we are not paying to the owner, na? Here we are paying to some third party. So that is always taxable. Okay, but when the rent or tenancy premium is paid to the owner of the property for a residential house occupied for residential purpose, then it will be exempted from GST. Yes? Okay. So again, I'll conclude it, everyone. Let's say owner of the property is getting rent. Okay, or he is getting tenancy premium from the tenant. Okay. Then whatever is the treatment of rent. Okay, if rent is taxable, tenancy premium will also be taxable. If rent is exempted, tenancy premium will also be exempted. Okay, because it is between owner and the tenant. But if the transaction is done between two tenants, then nothing doing, be it any type of property, nothing doing, it is going to be fully taxable. Yes? Okay. Chalo, then after that, let's do question number 8, everyone. Let's do question number 8. Mrs. Kajal, a registered supplier of Jaipur, Rajasthan, has made the following supplies in the month of January. Supply of laptop. She has done the supply of laptop along with laptop bag to a customer of Mumbai for 55,000. It is a composite supply. Laptop and laptop bag done together is a composite supply, 55,000. Okay, so laptop and laptop bag. Can we say laptop is the principal supply? So 18% GST will be applicable on this 55,000. Can you see this in the answers, everyone? Okay, so answer has to be, what is the question that they are asking? Examine each of the above supplies made and determine the rate of GST applicable. So for every transaction, we have to just give the rate, not the calculation. So mainly two columns should be there. One should be the particulars and other one should be the rate of GST. So in particulars, we can write the same thing and we can give the explanation there that this will be considered as a composite supply. Hence the rate will be 18%, just like I have done it here in the bracket. Okay, then after that, supply of 10,000 kits at 50 rupees each amounting to 5 lakh to Ram Fancy Store in Kota, Rajasthan. Each kit consists of one hair oil, one beauty soap and one hair comb. Can we say this is considered as a mixed supply because this is done at a single price? Yes, hair oil, beauty soap, hair comb. Hair oil, beauty soap, hair comb. Can we say out of this we'll take whichever is the highest? So 40% will be applicable there. Yes, okay, then 100 kits are given as free gift to the Jaipur customers, all unrelated, on occasion of her birthday. Each kit consists of one hair oil and one beauty soap. Cost of each kit is 35 rupees. ITC has not been taken. Okay, anyway, this is free gift. Now we have done it this in the circular. Free gift, free samples given to unrelated person will not be considered as a supply. Okay, it is not considered as a supply at all. Then after that, event management services provided free of cost to her brother, wholly dependent, for his son's marriage function in Indore. Okay, for me it is my business, but I have provided it to my brother for his son's marriage function in Indore, and cost of providing the service is 80,000 and I have provided it free of cost. Can we say no consideration is there? So I will check schedule number 1. Okay, and here I have provided it to my related person, brother, fully dependent related person. So can we say this comes under para number 2? Para number 2, supply of goods or services between related person, distinct person, establishment of distinct person in the course or furtherance of business. For me, it is my business. Okay, so it is done in the course or furtherance. For other person is using personally, doesn't matter. Right? So here this will be taxable. This will be considered as a deemed supply. So event management services, event management. So can we say 5% will be the rate of GST applicable here? Okay. Then after that, 1400 chairs and 100 coolers were hired out to a function garden, Ajmer, Rajasthan for 3,30,000, including cost of transportation from her godown to the function garden, Ajmer. Since Mrs. Kajal is not a GTA, transportation services provided by her are exempted. So can we say she has given chairs and coolers, she has given on rent. Chairs and coolers she has given on rent to some person, including the cost of transporting the chairs. So this will be considered as what? This will be considered as, there are two services. Now one is giving on hire and the other one is transportation services. So main supply is the giving on hire, renting. Renting is the main service. So that rate will be applicable. So 12% will be the total rate applicable. Manageable, everyone? Yes. And yes, another thing here is, see, we are assuming that this is a composite supply. Okay, why? Because there are two services given. One is renting of that cooler, etc. and another one is transportation. And here they are telling the transportation services is exempted. Okay, so another viewpoint can be that in the definition of composite supplies, in the definition there was two or more taxable supplies should be done together. Two or more taxable supplies should be done together. So if you consider that definition, then it cannot be considered as composite, and then in that case it will be considered as individual supplies. Okay, so you can just write a note to that. Fine, done. Question number 9 is a buy one get one free. That question you can definitely do it on your own. Okay, question number 10 is again on composite supply, mixed supply, the thing that we just now discussed. You can just try this question on your own. Okay, MCQs. Okay, MCQs. We'll do the MCQs here, everyone. Let's try the MCQs. Case study based MCQ is there, na? That's why we are doing it here. Starting with the first one. Messrs KLM Limited is a large publishing and printing house registered in Maharashtra having single GSTIN. Engaged in supply of books, letter, cards, envelope, etc. KLM has front office in Mumbai and Nagpur for receiving the orders, and orders are supplied to front office or supplied to recipient directly depending on the order from the workshop located at Nagpur. So it is a printing press basically. During March, KLM Limited received a proposal for printing 5,000 copies of taxation book from a renowned author where only the content will be supplied by the author. So it will be considered as supply of printing services. KLM agreed to supply the books. As per the requirement, 2,500 copies were supplied from workshop to Nagpur front office and 2,500 copies to Mumbai front office, from where the author collected the books. Satisfied with the quality, author placed another order of 10,000 letterheads. Okay, design and logo was supplied by the author. Due to these orders, KLM earned a handsome amount of profit and decided to gift employees for their performance. Accordingly, KLM gifted Android mobile phone worth 36,500 each to all of its 45 employees. Gift amount is less than 50,000 rupees, so that will not be GST attracted. Right now, supply of taxation books by KLM Limited is composite supply, principal supply being supply of services. This we already know. Yes, it will be main supply will be considered as supply of services. Then supply of letterheads by KLM will be considered as supply of goods, right? Because their paper is more important than logo printing. Tissue paper example which I had given. Distribution of mobile will not be considered as a supply. See, 25,000, 35,000 is gone. No need to see that also. And this will not to be treated because the value is less than 50,000 per employee. So B will be the correct answer. Then after that, in relation to taxability of supplies of copy from workshop to front office. Workshop to front office. Can we say both the offices are situated within the same state only and it is having a single GST registration? So it cannot be considered as my distinct persons or establishment of distinct person. Same PAN, two offices within the same state. Can we say it is considered as one single person? So it will not attract any GST. The stock transfer will not be liable for GST. Will not be liable to GST. Then, which of the following transactions does not qualify as supply? Which is not a supply? Disposal of car without consideration and the supplier has not claimed ITC. This is not a supply. Principal makes supplies to the agent who is also registered under GST and is situated within an invoice is issued. This is a supply, deemed supply. Head office makes a supply of services to its own branch outside the state. Even this is a supply. And person imports services without consideration from his elder son living outside India. Elder son living outside India. So even this is considered importation of services from his related person. Children are always considered as a related person, right? Irrespective of the fact whether dependent or not. So A will be the correct answer. A is not considered as a supply, right? And then the third one. Yes, let's try the third one, everyone. Fourth and fifth you can do it on your own. Okay, third one we are doing. Korelal Printon Private Limited, a registered person under GST in the state of Jammu Kashmir, is engaged in the business of offset printing and is providing services to various book publishers. A publisher situated in Himachal Pradesh registered sent content of the books to be printed by Korelal Printon Private Limited in PDF format. The publisher also sent paper worth 4 lakh to the printer free of cost for the purpose of printing its books on 10th Feb as per the agreement between them. Korelal Printon raised an invoice of 1.5 lakhs against printing of books and returned the printed books through the challan on 20 August. The proper officer intercepted the vehicle and claimed that Korelal should have sent the invoice of 5.5 lakh, that is including the value of paper. You may suitably advise which one is the correct option. So can we say here we supplied paper worth rupees 4 lakh and then for printing the value of service was rupees 1.5 lakh. And then after using the paper and doing the printing, we supplied the full books to the publisher. So in this case, can we say they had entered into an agreement only for printing? Right? They had entered into an agreement only for printing. See, paper I am giving, I just want you to do the printing. So can we say this will be considered a supply of printing services only? So the value should be 1.5 lakhs only. Yes, so D will be the correct answer. Value will be only rupees 1.5 lakhs. Simple. Fourth one, fifth one, you can do it on your own. It is very, very simple. Yes, I am giving you as homework. And last one, exclusive question we have got in our book. Let's try that, everyone. Yes, Mr. Kanjilal Adani is an oil exploration and production contractor and is registered under GST in the state of Gujarat. He entered into a production sharing contract with the government of Gujarat wherein he has got the license, okay, to do the exploration in Aliabet oil field in lieu of royalty and share in profit petroleum. In the month of June, he did the exploration, he got a portion of petroleum silt worth rupees 3 lakh as a part of compensation. This petroleum silt is a part of cost petroleum as per the contract. Examine the taxability of petroleum silt received by Mr. Kanchilal Adani under the GST law. So can we say this is a cost petroleum that they are telling? And already as per the circular we have studied that cost petroleum is not a consideration that we are received from anyone else for doing the oil exploration. So that is not taxable at all, and it will not be considered as a supply. Okay, but the royalty that we are going to pay to the Gujarat government, that will attract GST. Any license fee that we'll pay to the Gujarat government, that will attract GST. Share of profit petroleum will not attract GST at all. Are you able to understand? Yes. So with this we are done with our supply under GST. Yes, we have done the concepts also, we have done the question answers. I hope you were able to solve the question answers. Yes. And majority of the questions we have done. Whichever questions are not manageable, okay, those we have done, or whichever questions are lengthy questions, etc., that we have already done. Yes, rest of the questions I have already marked as homework. So please do those questions. Okay, please give it a try, so that it will really give you good amount of confidence. Yes, so now because this chapter is done, what are you supposed to do? Revise the content again, do the homework question answers, that's it. Yes. Okay, and one more thing I forgot to tell you, that is while doing the question answers, whichever point you felt that it is difficult or you are not able to give the answer in one go, please mark it. Okay, please don't mark every question. That will be considered as a general marking, which is of no use, because we have to filter our content for the last day. For the last day revision, we need to filter. So whichever questions you are, finding it difficult or tough, or you got confused, or you were not able to give the answer in one go, then just mark it as very important. Use a different ink altogether for marking. Yes. Okay. Fine. So I'll see you in the next lecture with a fresh chapter. We are going to start with charge of GST in the next lecture. Yes. Till then, please revise whatever we have done. Cumulative revision is going to be the key for giving you 70+ marks in your examinations. Yes. Okay. Till then, take care. Bye-bye. See you.